You are tuning in to the Cigar Guys Podcast, where aficionados and newcomers alike gather to explore the vast cigar universe. Meet your host, Alexander Gonzalez, Mark Nikollaj, his big little brother Zachary Nikollaj, and Jared Burrows. So sit back, light up, and let's get the conversation started. But first, a quick word from our sponsors.
What if every cigar was considered vintage? What if every cigar that we made was that perfect experience? And so that passion drove us to create Sans Pareil, a cigar without equal. The inspiration between Sans Pareil is 100% all about quality. Everything that we enjoy in our cigars, everything from the tasting notes to the burn, to the aroma, to the way the cigar lights, to the packaging, everything is focused on Sans Pareil cigars. And that's where we came up with our name, Sans Pareil, which is French for without equal, unparalleled. And we take every cigar that we make to that level, making sure that if it isn't something that inspires you to do something more, then it's not part of the portfolio, and that's what drives us every day.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Cigar Guys Podcast. We are back in the studio featuring, I believe, our last official guest of this year, 2025.
Oh, no way.
So it's going to be a very special one.
Very special.
Myself, Alex Gonzalez is here. Mark Nikollaj is here. Jared Burrows is here. And we have the one and only Alex Weghorn from Davidoff. How we doing, brother?
Thank you for having me. I'm glad we ran into each other down at Empire.
Oh, yeah.
And we were able to touch base and figure out a schedule that worked.
Yes.
Driving on I-4 over here on the worst travel day of the year was not ideal.
We appreciate it.
But very, very happy to be here.
I will say I didn't realize until about a week or two after we scheduled that this was the day before Thanksgiving. So I was like, well, he hasn't said anything. I guess we'll just let it happen. So I do appreciate you for taking the time.
Committed to it, so might as well go ahead and stick with it. It's not the biggest deal in the world. It's well worth it. So I get to hang out with you guys.
I appreciate that. Absolutely. And you have definitely brought a lot of stuff for us to experience today. So first things we'll do is we'll go ahead and light up our cigars, and you could, of course, tell us what we are smoking today.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have the Davidoff Late Hour. Between the Anniversario and the Late Hour, traditionally the top two blends in the United States for Davidoff. Always go back and forth. The Winston Churchill story actually started in 2005 when Winston S. Churchill, Sir Winston's grandson, actually approached Davidoff to see if we would be interested in creating a blend associated with his grandfather. And at that time, that did not exist. So everybody knows the Churchill format. That's made by plenty of manufacturers for a long time now, but there was no actual tobacco blend that was put together up until that point. So nothing with Davidoff is fast. We definitely take our time. So we actually, in 2008, released the first Winston Churchill by Davidoff. So for those more old school Davidoff fans, you might have seen the red band with the gold accents on it. It was, again, the Winston Churchill by Davidoff. The red band, gold accents were the Churchill family crest on there. So that was, since that was a special project for the family, that was actually considered the first non-Davidoff cigar rolled in the factory in the Dominican Republic. But then you fast forward to 2015, there's a rebrand, reblend. You end up having that blend is now rolled into our portfolio officially, and you have the white band, original Winston Churchill. And that was significant also because that was the first time we ever used Mexican tobacco. So Ecuadorian wrapper leaf, Mexican binder leaf, Dominican, Nicaraguan filler leaves. And then to paraphrase Sir Winston, we will never, never, never give up. And we continue to push our innovation. And then we had the lovely Late Hour. So same origins, still Ecuador, Mexico, Dominican, and Nicaraguan, but obviously a much darker wrapper leaf on there, not a Maduro. Much darker wrapper leaf, but then the filler tobaccos are coming from the Visus grade. So while Seiko for the white band gives it more of a medium intensity, you have that little bit more oomph from that Visus grade. And then also the Nicaraguan filler leaf in here has been barrel fermented in single malt whiskey barrels for an additional 6 months. So kind of that little bit sharper, earthier, spicier quality of Nicaraguan tobacco kind of rounds out with that barrel fermentation imparted onto the tobacco, and it's turned into an absolute workhorse for us. It's been amazing ever since 2017.
So real quick, most people would look at the cigar and think Maduro. How come you said it's not technically a Maduro?
So Maduro is a function of time. A lot of people think, and understandably so, dark leaf means Maduro, and that's not true.
Yeah.
Now, you will have that darker leaf because of the time spent in fermentation. So because of the fermentation, when you go for a longer period of time, that you continue to break down the tobacco, both physically and those flavors start to really come out. You get the naturally occurring ammonia out of tobacco, and you get this really nice, a lot of times you'll get a sweetness from a Maduro wrapper, but you can still have a dark tobacco leaf, a dark wrapper leaf, without that extra time.
Okay, gotcha.
So all Maduro leaf will be dark, but not all dark leaf is Maduro.
Gotcha. Very great explanation.
Yeah, that was very good.
makes
It's a
sense.
big misconception.
Yes,
Right.
yeah, a lot of times. Actually, there is only one Davidoff cigar that is a Maduro, which is the Davidoff Maduro.
Fair
And that
enough.
has gone through double the amount of fermentation. So normally our average is about 8 months for fermentation. That Davidoff Maduro has 16 months.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's great because a lot of times the general consensus is it's based on color.
Correct.
So if the
Right.
leaf is like this dark of a color, it's generally a Maduro. And if it's even darker, it'd be considered an Oscuro.
Right.
But there's a lot more technicality that goes into why the leaf is either a Maduro or it's, a natural or Oscuro, whatever the case is.
Correct.
And I will say too, the Maduro is much darker at first glance too. So you can kind of tell that
Sure.
there's that more color on there. It's been fermenting for longer.
Correct,
So,
yeah.
Fantastic cigar, by the way. We're grateful to receive those from you guys. We did a bunch of videos and stuff on that, but
Yeah.
I was very much surprised on how great that cigar was.
Yeah.
It was excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been a fan of it ever since it hit shelves, and it continues to get better. That's one of the things I continue to tell people about that cigar. It is supremely set up for long-term aging. So for those of us geeks who like to hold on to some cigars and get that extra age and see what that evolution of flavor is over time,
Yeah.
that one in particular is amazing. And it is a limited edition. So technically it's a limited release.
Okay.
So the difference between that limited edition, so like Chefs or Year of the Horse, whatever the case is, that is one run and done. That's it. Now with a limited release, we'll do, let's say 2 or 3 years of production and then it's done.
Okay.
So for Maduro, 2 years. Last year it was launched in April. At the end of this year, no more being produced. So especially for those who were kicking themselves when they didn't stock up on Puro de Oro or Dominicanas, anything like that. Yep.
You pulled my heartstrings when you said Puro de Oro.
I raised my
it's probably
hand.
my
I'm
all-time.
definitely one of those people. I have 0 of them because they were so good. And it's one of those things where you don't want to let that happen. So every once in a while, go into your shop, go into your Davidoff appointed merchant, and maybe every 2-3 visits, grab a couple.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And just kind of hide them away.
Great example because that Puro de Oro, I remember, it had to have been at least 4 years now since I was able to still find one because those
Right,
are
yeah.
gone, long gone. I found one somewhere in a shop like in another state. And I was like, oh, I had a few of these. They were super good. I bought one more, but of course I smoked that cigar. Like,
Right. Yeah. You didn't
I
at
couldn't
that
help
time.
myself.
You're like, I'm not going to let this just hang out in my humidor.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got to have it at that point in time. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and light up these cigars.
Yes,
And you're going to show us a special ritual on how to light a cigar.
Just a little bit different. It's another tool in the toolbox, right? So everybody has the torches. They have maybe a soft flame lighter, which also would work. I'm actually, if you could pass,
Yeah,
me
we're all gonna get one of those.
matches. So
Just pass out some of the boxes too.
Which one did you
Make
use?
it easier.
So first and foremost, all credit going to Gordon Mott from Cigar Aficionado. He had done a video of this lighting ritual at our Madison Avenue store many, many years ago. And this was something where I wanted to incorporate it into one of our programs. And that's what we've done this year with our Winston Churchill and Earl Grey tea pairing. So I've been taking the white band, the Toro specifically, pairing it with Earl Grey tea, and it's gone amazingly. But I have this lighting ritual because it does take a little bit longer. It forces you to slow down, but it also allows that perfect amount of time to steep the tea when we're enjoying it. So the idea is the 3-match technique. You're not using all 3 at the same time, but you'll strike your match.
He doesn't need them.
Oh.
And you hold a little bit of a breeze from that fan. You hold that cigar, the foot,
Yeah, that's gonna
at about a 45-degree angle. This might be a little tough. Thank you.
I would like to point out that this is an uncut cigar, right?
Great point. Thank you for bringing that up. I forgot to mention that. The last thing you do is cut, and I'll explain that here at the end. But the idea is you hold that foot right at the tip of the match, okay? That's the hottest part of the flame. I see a lot of people, torches and matches alike, they will bury the foot of the cigar in the flame, and you actually want to hold it at the very tip. And you want to rotate that cigar. The tobacco is going to light. It's going to char from the outside in.
Okay.
So the biggest thing about combustion is it's really the binder that really helps continue that combustion. Yeah, I'm good. And if you need more than 3 matches, it's okay. I'm not going to judge you. Law might. Speaking of which, hold on.
Go ahead.
What time is it? It is what?
I know exactly what you're gonna do.
5:49 on November 26, 2025, and as of this moment, Law Ream is still gainfully employed.
I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to
Davidoff
hear.
of Geneva, USA.
I'm glad to hear it wasn't as bad as we imagined.
That was quality content, though.
Thank you, man. No, yeah, he
If
was.
you haven't gone back and watched episode 150 of Cigar Guys, check out Law.
So I retrohaled right off the rip. That was amazing, by the way.
So, to a cigar, for me, I'm going to have to use some more matches. But to a cigar, for me, it starts the cigar so much better.
Jared didn't even do it correctly.
No, I already cut it once you handed it to me. So. I was so excited.
That's
Wow. I think I'll be good here soon.
But when we enjoy cigars, we're trying to relax, right? We're trying to wind down. It's cathartic. We kind of process the day a little bit. We're kind of just cutting that umbilical cord of stress that we all have. So why rush it?
That's why we allow some of our episodes to go over 2 hours long. Episode 150, for example.
Yeah.
2 hours, 46 minutes.
You did watch it.
A couple times.
We have a few that went like 2 hours and 45 minutes. Like, I think 3, right?
At least,
At
yeah.
least 3.
We had a couple 2 hours and 40-ish, and then we had one that I think hit 2 hours 50.
I mean, when you have a good thing going, roll with it.
Absolutely.
Roll with it. So yeah, I'm trying to focus as much as I can on that outer part because that tobacco is less dense, so it's not going to. It will kind of char a little bit more, and you get that binder going, and then you're able to finish the middle part as you're drawing on the cigar.
Well, Mark, what are you doing?
Nothing. I'm
Are
not
you
cheating.
cheating?
I'm not
Touch up.
cheating.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
It's okay.
But the whole idea is you cut last. First off, you're using a soft flame. So there's a reason why we have to humidify our cigars. Keep them in a humidor because that's the proper environment, right? By the way, do you know who invented the humidor?
No, but I'm sure you do.
I do.
Was it Alexander Humidor?
That's a good guess.
Strong first name. No. No, it was actually Zeno Davidoff.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't plug you in, by the way, so I'm going to go ahead and do that.
So what
now.
did they do before
All
the
right.
humidor?
So since they weren't in the proper, this will eventually catch up. I lit this like an asshole. One more time. So yeah, one of the things about Zeno, real name Cecil Meyer, by the way, Zeno was a nickname. So he had left home when he was 18 years old in 1924. And he went down to South America, Central America, spent a lot of time in Brazil, Argentina, ended up finding his way up to Cuba, obviously. And he already knew he wanted to find out as much as he could about premium tobacco and cigars. His father was already a tobacconist. His father was the one who started Davidoff of Geneva in 1911. So, all right, that's better. That'll catch up. So he goes down to Central and South America, learns all he can about tobacco, 6 years, comes back in 1930, and he realized cigars tasted so much differently in Europe. Much different climate, right? So when you don't have that heat and humidity, how do you create that environment? And so he was the one who invented the desktop and a larger humidified room for storing cigars. Mm-hmm. So every single person who enjoys cigars takes advantage of the fact that he invented those.
That's awesome.
Right?
That's pretty cool.
So essentially his idea was to create some sort of artificial what would you say?
Environment.
Exactly. Thank you, Mark. Like an artificial environment, so that way you could have the perfect climate for your cigars wherever you are in the world.
Correct.
So he put Cuba in a box.
That's a great way to put it. Absolutely. That's 100% correct. That is exactly what happened.
So I guess back in the old days, they just let their cigars dry out and they still smoked them.
Well, yeah, I mean, you bring up, especially being in Europe, that climate is definitely going to be less humid and it's generally very cold a lot of the year.
And larger fluctuations.
Yeah.
Because it still will get hot and humid over there, but you have larger fluctuations throughout the year. So maybe sometimes they will be enjoyed in a proper way during the summer. But especially if you have maybe a smaller cigar and you're outside and it's a little bit colder, I'm sure at that time there is also a lot more smoking inside.
Oh yeah,
Not finding that as
the good old
much in
days.
homes, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Not everybody has a rabbit air or some sort of ventilation that's okay for cigars in the house, right? Or our significant others will poo-poo the idea, right? So, yeah, it's kind of cool to think about all the different things that Zeno was responsible for in terms of our enjoyment and how important it is to the industry as a whole.
Of course,
not just our brand.
Yeah, because that's some of the things that a lot of people don't think about, like, you know, how cigars came to be, or even, for example, why they created the humidor, or who came up with the idea of creating the humidor. I didn't even realize, you know, Davidoff was responsible for that, which is awesome.
There had to be a first.
Yeah.
At some point in time.
I think too, like you're saying, when back in the day, they didn't have a humidor or any way to really maintain the climate of cigars.
Yeah.
I'm sure that some people would smoke a cigar and it would be very harsh or just not burn right. And it's like, well, there probably wasn't as much of a issue to them because it's like, well, this just is what it is. But now that we have all this technology that allows us to have a perfectly kept cigar, nowadays, if we were to smoke a cigar that was really harsh and dry, or if the burn is really wonky, we'd be like, oh my God, this is terrible.
We're spoiled.
Right.
We're so spoiled.
It's great, isn't it? Between all of us, we have so many electric humidors nowadays too.
Right.
So it just makes it super convenient.
Yeah, absolutely. And or even just Bovida packs.
Yeah.
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 The advent of the two-way humidification pouch. Wow. Talk about game changer.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. I use them all the time, especially in like a travel case. They've made it a lot easier for even the novice to enjoy cigars like an aficionado.
No, I mean, we recommend that as your just official way to keep your cigars properly humidified. Obviously, Bovida, they're kind of the official company of the two-way humidification system. They've been doing it for such a long time, and they've perfected it, I would say.
Yeah.
But two, it's just the easiest thing, and it's so trustworthy. Like, if that pack is not dry, it's working.
Correct.
And your cigars are kept properly humidified. So it's just the easiest thing. A lot of the humidors that we do get, they come with the traditional hygrometer slash.
Yeah, the hygrometer and then the sponge.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So you put the distilled water in there, and that's how you keep it humid in there. But I would have never trusted that alone to make sure that my cigars were kept humid. And then you have to keep an eye on the hydrometer to make sure it's not going too far or it's not not enough humidity. But yeah, just throw a Boveda in there, and as long as it's not dry, then everything's working great. It's like you don't have to worry about it.
Work out of it.
Yeah.
And some people may think, well, I put so much time and effort into maintaining my cigars, it helps me enjoy them more. I'm not one of those people.
Me neither.
I definitely appreciate path of least resistance in terms of maintaining my humidor and my cigars. So, especially I'm traveling all the time. I'm never home.
Yeah.
It's just, my house is just a place to keep my stuff. So when I am home, I don't want to be fussing around with humidors.
Right. I mean, when I first started smoking cigars, I was very meticulous about it. I was like, checking the humidor, making sure everything was great.
You have a spreadsheet?
I had a list on my phone.
Okay.
I wasn't that technical about it, but I had a list and everything like that. And I'd take pictures every now and then. And then after like a year or two, I'm just like, I don't even know what's in my humidor. Like, I'll take stuff out, whatever. Boveda pack, no problem. I don't care. But yeah.
That's actually how I got into aging cigars. It was cigars I forgot.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's a very common theme for a lot of people is you just don't even realize it, that you have something that's been in there for 3-4 years. And at that point, you almost have to try to find a reason to enjoy that cigar. It's already been 3-4 years and you didn't miss it. So it's like, what would another year do to it? And that year goes by and it's like, well, what about another year? So it's one of those things where you have to almost, and I'll kind of take a page out of Michael Herklotz's book. You have to make the cigar the occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, you know what? I'm not celebrating anything. It's a Tuesday night, but I have this Davidoff Anniversario Double R, and I have time, and I've had it in my humidor for 4 years. Let's see what it's like.
Exactly.
And it blows your mind.
It's so easy to age a cigar longer when you've already done it for 3 years.
Yeah.
But that first 6-month window when you first get it, especially if you keep looking in the humidor, you're like, man, I kind of want to smoke that right now.
That's why I just don't look at my humidor.
Yeah.
I put stuff in there. I don't look what's inside.
He always just buys cigars. He never breeds his own cigars. So his humidor has just been putting more and more in it.
One of the things that I love is, and I had not actually seen this before until I went to Tennessee, and I was hanging out with our rep up there. Law brought him up a couple times last week. Garrett Calhoun. He has gigantic, like the large Rubbermaid containers.
Yeah.
And those are his humidors.
The airtight, everything.
So the seal's great on them. He's got Boveda packs in there, and they last way longer than they should.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's not opening. He's not in and out and messing with them. And he's had some in there for years, and the packs are still not dry.
Yeah.
But to be able to put them away like that, and you think about back in the day, the creation of the humidor, right? And nowadays, it's as simple for some people as just having Tupperware.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Tupperware.
Yeah, absolutely. Does a great job. As long as you don't have it next to a window getting direct sunlight, and it's inside with some sort of air conditioning, some sort of climate control.
Yeah. We actually recommend that to like new smokers.
100%.
Just get a Tupperware container. Throw a Vita pack in there.
Yeah, and eventually you'll get to the point where you're getting more cigars, or you're getting nicer cigar, whatever your justification is. But eventually you're like, you know what? I think I want to invest in a humidor. And then you'll get maybe a smaller desktop, $200-$300, something like that.
Yeah.
And then you go, when you have been on this journey long enough, you're like, okay, I'm going to get some sort of kick-ass humidor, and you get a stand-up case or invest a small fortune into a really nice humidor, and you can make it more of a statement piece, a showpiece. But you always want to have one for you and one for your friends.
Yes.
So
You can't conflate the two.
correct. Yeah. Davidoff and yours.
Exactly. And then Zeno Nicaragua in the way. Before we go any further, too, do you want to break open this beautiful bottle that you bought us?
Why not? Why not? So the Dalmore, one of my favorites. Actually, I tell people all the time I am a Dalmore whore. I absolutely love everything they come out with every single year with their limited editions, but their core product is amazing. Their master distiller, Sir Richard Patterson, big cigar guy. So he actually created the Cigar Malt Reserve, and this was technically the first whiskey that was actually designed and blended to be paired with cigars. So a big part of that methodology is it actually makes you salivate. So it's not drying your mouth out, so you're able to maintain a lot of those flavors from the cigar, because when you have a really dry mouth, then that cigar tastes a lot different. What's going on in your mouth makes a big deal. So their traditional flavor profile for the Dalmore is going to be marzipan, so kind of an almond quality, orange, and chocolate. So especially when you talk about something like this paired with a beautiful blend like the Late Hour, time beautifully filled.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would say they would get cocoa or citrus from this cigar already too. So
I
that's
actually
a nice
hear
pairing.
a lot of that feedback is citrus, actually. And you might not think of that as a traditional tasting note for cigars in general, but especially a cigar like the Late Hour. And exactly, cocoa. You also you'll get a little bit of spice. You'll get more on the baking spot. For me, it's more baking spice, not as much of a pepper type spice. You definitely get some really nice leather notes, woody characteristics. So it's a really nice mix, but it's on that more medium plus side, but it's not going to kick you in the teeth either.
Right, exactly.
So
Cheers.
Let's
do it.
pour some juice.
Zach?
Yeah, I'm just more concerned that you guys are letting the guest pour.
I was waiting for someone to take over. Here, you can have the first one. Thank you, Zach. He's taking really good care of us tonight. Alex, that is. Not this Alex.
I want to make sure you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, not Mr. Producer.
So,
Mr. Producer's not doing anything today.
according to episode 150,
You're quoting the
I love, real quick, I love guests that have done their research before they come on. It's so great.
I'm just glad he hasn't done all the research.
He may have. We'll find out. Thank you, sir.
and last for me.
I mean,
There is one more thing that I wanted to bring up.
Uh-oh.
stirring the pot.
All right. Dalmore Cigar Malt Reserve.
Beautiful.
All
Cheers.
right. So
Cheers.
in Scottish or Scotch, it's Slàinte.
Slàinte. Slàinte.
Da, da, da.
Slàinte.
Got everybody. All right.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Primo. Primo.
Really smooth. Almost no
There's no
spice or anything.
Does not bite back at
No.
all. Let me see.
What do you think, Jared?
Don't get
I
him
can
started.
still taste it. It's really smooth. No bite, no burn. Now I want to pair it with a cigar.
That's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
So.
So when do you start salivating from it? Like right away?
It should be right away towards kind of the end.
What is that?
That's the Pantone and the Hex and all that stuff for the Xeno color.
Oh. I'm looking at the image above it. I'm like, what am I looking at right now?
Not that, no.
Okay, so someone knows.
You guys were talking about the Xeno color and how they came up with it, and you guys were talking about the different codes or what. I don't know any of that.
I try to wear my
shit.
only yellow shirt that I have, so I kind of blend in, you know.
But now we have the actual code, so we
It's
can make a
impossible.
custom
Exactly.
shirt for that exact code.
Don't tell anybody that I gave that to you.
No, I mean, obviously I don't remember it. I wasn't even looking at it. I was looking at the picture above it. That's funny. You know, the hit of this real quick.
So I know you said you guys are definitely bourbon guys. Definitely talked about rye last time as well. Scotch wise,
100%.
preference. What do you guys usually prefer?
Macallan 12, Macallan 18, Belvini
Belvini
14 too.
They do a great job.
Yeah.
The Caribbean cask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just had the Meridian cast too.
Oh yeah.
The 15-year.
have not had that before.
They only sell it in duty free.
That would be why.
Yeah. It's
That would
really
be
good
why.
though.
Okay.
Really good.
I'll have to next time I'm heading down to DR. I'll see if I can find that in there.
Yeah, they got a 15. I think they got a 21 year now also.
Okay.
Yeah, or maybe it was 18. They got a higher year now than the 15.
For the
also.
Madeira?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was really good. This is fantastic, though. I mean,
For me, the cigar gets sweeter.
Yeah, a little bit.
There's a little bit more sweetness that's coming through after.
But it's
after
not
the
like
scotch.
it's not overpowering though. It's still there.
Right.
Yeah, it cools the cigar off a little bit though.
yeah, I think I think you're right, though. It's kind of, it allows you to focus more on the sweetness because it maybe kind of hides a little bit more of the spice and the woodiness, maybe.
Mhm.
And it's just kind of allowing more of the sweetness to come through.
Did you retrohale before and after drinking?
I don't stop retrohaling, bro. That's one of my.
That's a good answer.
Some people would say it's a bad quality to have, but I don't mind at all. I'll retrohale the whole cigar.
I find there's a point of diminishing return for me. So I will do it with some frequency, but eventually I just get a little bit of congestion going on.
Okay.
So I'm not able to get some of those more nuanced, delicate notes like I am when I first start a cigar.
So yeah, like
Yeah,
towards the
yeah.
end, you mean it's kind of just like
Right, yeah.
It gets hotter, so
that too. That's what I was thinking is like,
Or later in the day too. If I
Ah.
this is my fourth cigar today. So by the time you get to at the end of 2 into 3, it's not as effective.
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
So, but I know other people that are retroing the entire time, and then there's the people who don't believe in it or don't want to go that route, which is perfectly fine. How you enjoy cigars, how you enjoy a cigar. Yeah, I kind of find moderation
Yeah.
for me.
For me, I think it's just once I started doing it so much,
Mhm.
it became
Like
not even second nature. It was just how I smoke a cigar now.
Yeah,
And I don't notice often finding myself being like, or find it not working, I should say, meaning like
Yeah.
the flavor's not there
Mhm.
or whatever. For me, I can do it the entire cigar. And unless the cigar is really hot, then I don't really have an issue. But yeah, it just kind of became normal for me to do where I don't even realize it. So like when you say retrohale, now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh, okay. But I now find myself, if I don't retrohale, I really just don't feel like I'm getting nearly as much out of the cigar.
that's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's that we all want that little bit extra. And so
Yeah.
once you know how to achieve that, it's hard not to.
Right. It's like once you've experienced it, it's really hard to go back.
Why go back?
Yeah, exactly. That's why some people, when they say like, you know, retrohaling doesn't matter, you don't have to, whatever, and they don't retrohale, I'm like, no problem. Like,
Mhm.
stay right where you are because once you figure it out, you're going to be like, damn, I wish I never learned how
Yeah.
to.
I think it's just a fun thing to do.
Me too. Honestly, me too.
But also, we talked about purging last week. So are you going to purge at the very end to reignite everything, all the flavors back again?
I purge my cigar a lot just out of habit. I don't know why.
That's why, I wish you were here last week. So now, because I've been thinking about it this whole week, every time I
Yeah.
smoke a cigar, I get about halfway through it, I'm like, I'm going to do what Law said. I'm going to purge the cigar just to kind of see how it changes. So I'm definitely going to do it this time around.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
I've done it before. I'd completely forgotten about it until the episode.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, well, I've done it a couple times today. Actually, I was sitting in the office earlier today with Law. I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, you're so right. Like for somebody who nearly gets fired for an episode, you're a smart dude. You know what you're doing.
Did he actually nearly get fired?
Not even close.
Okay.
Not
I'm like, let's
No,
be honest.
Actually, you should have kept that going the whole podcast.
Well, I was
Just
gonna,
committing to the bit.
well, I was gonna say I appreciate that. He did Cigar Hustle right before, and he did us. I'm like, yeah, there's no way. Like this is normal for him. You go on Cigar Hustler, you're talking about everything.
So I have heard. But I will say, God love Law Ream.
Oh yeah.
He came over and totally overqualified for the job, right? Not to make his head any bigger than it is, but totally overqualified and has been an absolute machine driving the banana all over the country and putting in the miles and putting in the hours day in, day out, month in, month out. And also, God love Vicky, his wife, to be able to handle that over their first year of marriage. He's been an absolute joy to be around. He brings so much to the table, and he's a fun guy to hang around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He wouldn't let us leave. He was like, "We need to have another cigar." And I was like, "Zach, are you okay with staying? Because I'm staying."
We honestly should have had at least one more to break the 3-hour limit just to do it.
I'm still pretty upset about the whole trailer situation. You guys made him drive 18 hours for no party, when he dropped off that trailer. It just kind of upsets me.
I don't think Alex had anything to do with that.
I didn't
know.
have anything to do with it, but I was one of the few people that was there that day.
Good. All right.
I got to see his reaction and the letdown, the just defeat, and I felt bad for him. But yeah, I'm one of the few that don't really take advantage of the remote work on Tuesdays thing. So I live 5 minutes away from the office, so it's not a big deal. So I was in there and he shows up and I'm like, ooh, this is not going to be good. But at the time I didn't realize it was, I didn't remember at least that it was an 18-hour trip for him.
Yeah, he tried to tell us it was 18 hours straight. Then he kind of backtracked and said he took a nap or something. I'm like, well, I guess we'll give it to you. But to be fair, and to your point, the amount of traveling he does, just all year, like it's literally every time I open Instagram, there's another event he's at. I'm like, geez, okay, this guy doesn't like have a house.
And when you see, he'll do the post where he's covering the mileage and he's going from one spot to the, and you see just the logistics of where he's going. It's wild. It's zigzagging everywhere. And that was with trying to make it a little bit more efficient. But when you're talking about multi-vendor events or just events at retailers, you're at more the whim and the will of their schedule.
Right.
So you try to kind of have a little bit of control by saying, okay, I'm going to be here in this time frame, but sometimes that doesn't work out.
Right.
But you still need to get to those retailers. It's a business partnership. That's one of the things we always say. They're not just accounts. Our accounts are a business partnership. So it's that two-way relationship. And so they're putting the effort to have our brands there and to sell those cigars and represent the brands properly. And we go out of our way to make sure we can give them as much as we can. Mm-hmm. And that's all the way across the board of the portfolio.
Of course. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even if you hit regions, I mean, you're still driving back and forth between different areas. Cause like you said, it's almost impossible to have a schedule where you can go in almost a linear path. I mean, it's almost impossible. So scheduling and everything like that. I mean, I guess you might have it a little bit easier. I'm sure you fly to all these places.
So I travel a lot, but I fly. So that's actually kind of the worst part of it because I'm dealing with airlines and I have zero control over that.
Especially past couple months.
It was not too bad.
Great. I'm glad to hear
I got so lucky. I think I maybe had a 30-minute delay one time.
Oh, it's awful.
During the whole shutdown.
That's great. Yeah.
But last year, when none of this was happening, it took me 27 hours to get home from Las Vegas.
Jeez.
So might as well just stay.
It's weird. Well, I was already in Dallas. That was the problem. There was massive storm in the DFW area, and eventually found out lightning struck the air traffic control tower.
Okay.
Which fried the system, and you'd think their infrastructure would have been hardened and be able to withstand something like that. Oh no. Oh no. And it took them the entire day to catch up. So we were on the plane in Vegas at 5 a.m. and fell asleep at the gate, woke up an hour and a half later at the gate, still had to wait another hour to take off. Finally got to DFW, had to burn a hole in the sky for about an hour and wait until a window to land. And obviously, you're not getting to the customer service desk anytime soon. So then you have to try to find something to do. So we called our rep in Fort Worth. He picked us up, had lunch, went to his house over there in Fort Worth, had some bourbon, cigars, watched movies in his garage for hours. Finally got back to the airport at like maybe 9 o'clock for a 10:30 flight. Delay. Final flight canceled at 12:15. So then we had to fly Southwest out of Love Field. So it was different airline, different airport to finally get home to Tampa. Wild.
Yeah.
So, but with all of that said, that happens occasionally. But I always tell people I would not be able to do the job of law or any sales rep for any manufacturer. All credit to the sales teams that have that windshield time. And they sit in their car and they drive for 10 hours and they have to stop along the way and visit accounts and perform every single time. Then they get to where they're going. Then they have a week to do the same thing. And then they have that long ass drive back home. All the credit to the world.
No, absolutely.
To sales reps.
It's a lot of work, honestly. I mean, because, from the outside, you just get to drive to all your favorite cigar lounges and smoke cigars. But it's a big toll on you. Just the driving and
on your body.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's not as easy as it might sound. Yeah.
It seems glamorous because everybody sees one part of it.
Right.
But we're all ducks on a pond, right? It looks one thing on top, but the legs are going like crazy underneath.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think, well, to your whole flight conversation, a lot of times we hear about the delays and all the crazy incidents. But if you think about it, it's like, okay, of the millions of flights that are going on, how many of them realistically are being delayed? So that's why, like, when you said, like, this year, and especially during the shutdown, it's like you had a pretty good success rate in terms of flights.
Yeah, from a percentage standpoint, it's pretty low. Honestly.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
But of course, we're only hearing about the negative.
Yeah.
Like, we're hearing about the delays and stuff like that. Meanwhile, you still have millions of people flying like it's no problem. So
getting to where they need to go.
Yeah. So. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the late hour, the Churchill in general. Davidoff has a very wide portfolio of, obviously, Davidoff brand and then some other stuff. So you mentioned the Double R, you mentioned Puro de Oro, a lot of stuff. We can talk a little bit too about what else Davidoff has to offer that maybe some people just don't know, because Davidoff, obviously, well-known brand. A lot of people know the brand and know some of it.
Right.
But for those of you that may not be super familiar, we can kind of go down the line and talk about some different stuff that you guys have to offer.
So for the longest time, Davidoff was really known for that white band, but a lot of those cigars that are going to be on the milder side, creamy cedar forward, very, very delicate, nuanced flavor profiles, nothing that's going to be in your face at all. And so it was 2001 when the millennium came around. And that was a big change to that core portfolio because you have a much darker wrapper leaf. It's a hybrid leaf grown out of Ecuador called 151 because of the 300 different hybridization projects we've done. That was the 151st.
Oh, wow.
So that's how that wrapper leaf is so special. And it gives you so much more. That medium plus quality, and especially the short Robusto, my personal favorite size. That thing, she's sneaky. She'll as much as I smoke, sometimes it'll creep up and it'll be a little, I'll be a blind man reading. I'm feeling it. Right. So it just kind of depends on if that's the moment for that cigar. But for a lot of people, I feel in the United States, the American palate wants more intensity. It wants more variety and complexity of flavors and sizes. So in 2013, we came out with the Nicaragua. So that was a big deal because that was the first one with a black band, and that started our Discovery series. And that was the first time we had gone outside of the Dominican Republic for the basis of a blend since we had left Cuba in 1991. So you go to Nicaragua and we're like, okay, well, we're here. Let's use all the tobacco. So we made it a Nicaraguan tobacco, but all four of the major growing regions in Nicaragua are represented in that blend. So it is Condega, Esteli, Ometepe, and Jalapa all in that one blend. So it wasn't just about using only Nicaraguan tobacco. So it was a big, big push, and it tested our capabilities in terms of blending philosophy, because Nicaraguan tobacco is very, very different than Dominican. And it's been a workhorse for us ever since. It's gotten really, really high ratings from a lot of different publications. Twice it's gotten the number 3 cigar of the year from Cigar Aficionado. Both I think at the time we had a Toro size at the beginning, but then we had the 2022 rating, and that was the Diadema. Fantastic cigar. But we wanted to continue to push our innovation, so then we go over to Brazil in 2015, and we have Escurio. So that tobacco in Brazil tends to, by itself, it has some really nice sweet and spicy characteristics, but we have a hybrid that's the binder, and we also use it in the filler that's grown in the Bahia region, so northeast part of the country, and around the Todos os Santos Bay, there is a lot of salt in the rainwater and the groundwater, so you actually will get this little bit of a salinity to it. You get this salt component. So just from that tobacco, you're getting a very complete palate stimulation. So with bitter, acid, salt, sweet, you're getting a lot going on. But you have Ecuadorian wrapper, that Brazilian hybrid wrapper, Brazilian hybrid filler, Brazilian Matafina filler, and then 3 Dominican tobaccos. So that one is going to be very, very complex, a lot of variety in those flavors, but you're not pulled in any one direction too far. So if the fancy marketing language is going to be the flavors dance across your palate like Carnival in Rio de Janeiro, right? So you're samba, you're just shaking back and forth. But it's a medium intensity cigar, and it has a darker wrapper leaf, and a lot of people associate obviously we were talking about darker wrapper with Maduro, but also people think all dark cigars, all Maduro cigars, are going to be really intense. And this is not the case. Of our Discovery series, Escurio is the mildest at a medium. So it's a great, great cigar for me, especially kind of any time of day. I can have it as a first cigar. I can have it as a last cigar. Doesn't matter. It'll check that box, right? And then Yamasa came out in 2016, and that's a growing region in the Dominican Republic that has a lot of, there's a lot of minerals and a lot of iron in that soil. So you get this little bit of a red tinge to it. And especially kind of in the middle third of that blend, I'll get a little bit of a minerality, a little bit of almost a metallic type quality, very clean on the palate. But you have that Yamasa wrapper leaf, Yamasa binder leaf, then Dominican and Nicaraguan filler in that one. So we were really pushing ourselves in that 2013 to 2017 timeframe, because again, you had Winston Churchill, White Band, and Late Hour come out in 15 and 17. So that was really when I think we were trying to push the envelope of what we were used to and really trying to check that box and listen to the customer base, because it wasn't just our normal portfolio anymore.
Yeah. I will say too, of all the Davidoff cigars, I can confidently tell you that the Nicaragua has been my number one most smoked cigar, specifically the box press. I think that was just the one cigar that I would always go back to from the Davidoff portfolio. It's just the Nicaragua, because for me, that was probably just my most favorite cigar, at least from in terms of like the price point too, like most value that you get. So I'm going to spend somewhere between 15 and 20 bucks for that cigar, and it just hits every time. Yeah. And it kind of, at the time, especially matched my flavor portfolio, which was more on the medium to full body style, a little more strength. So that was that cigar that I kept going back to all the time.
What's cool about that cigar too is being a box press. So we unfortunately only have it in 2 sizes. It'd be cool if we ended up doing some more sizes for a box press, but you have the Robusto and Toro, but because it's a box press, it is actually a slightly different blend than the regular Parejos. So to be able to do a box press cigar from a construction standpoint, if you had the same size, so Robusto and just regular Parejo in a box press, you can't use the same amount of tobacco. You have to use a little less, because if you have too much tobacco, it'll crack the wrapper leaf and it won't work because of the construction. So you have to remove a little bit of tobacco, but then we introduce a little bit more Ligero in there. So it actually is going to be a little bit stronger and a little bit spicier than just the regular Nicaraguas as well. So especially for some of those individuals who like a little bit more of a spice and an earth component in other Nicaraguan puros, actually that box press is a really good direction to go.
That, and I think, at least for me, box press, I seem to get more flavor out of, just box press cigars in general. just because of the way it's constructed.
Better air channels.
Yes,
I was
for
about
sure.
I was
The
about to
draw.
say that's probably the reason why you get a better draw out of them.
Yeah.
Box press.
Absolutely. A little bit more oxygen coming through.
Yeah.
A little bit less resistance on the draw.
Right. Yeah. Oftentimes that draw is going to be more on the open side too. And partially I can imagine is because there is less tobacco in it. So it does fit the size better, but there's probably also less resistance because you do have to take some of the tobacco out of the filler.
Yeah. It all plays into it. It all plays into it. And that's one of the things that, for example, when we will do annual retailer trips down to the factory. So we'll have our handful of appointed merchants from around the country. We take them down to the factory and do the full factory tour, tobacco processing facility. For those who don't know out there, we manufacture out of Villa Gonzalez, Dominican Republic, just northwest of Santiago de los Caballeros. And then, so that's our factory, and then our tobacco production facility, our processing is actually in Jicomé, which is just a little bit further northwest from there. But you go through what goes into blending a cigar, right? And flavor obviously is the majority of what you're thinking about, and how to achieve that. And not only different tobaccos, the different varietals, but the different growing regions, and then also the grades, top to bottom, Volado, Seco, Visus, and Ligero. But it's not just the flavors and intensity that's going into those grades, it's also the thickness of the tobacco. So if you want a stronger cigar, logically you'd think, okay, I want more Ligero in it. I get it, but if you have too much Ligero, you're going to negatively impact your combustion. So you actually may need to include some Volado or Seco in there, and it'll impact the flavor and the intensity a little bit, but it's going to improve the combustion. So there's so many different variables that are going into how to put a blend together, and then deciding what formats for that particular blend make the most sense as well. Because you want to make sure you're satisfying the customer base, but you also want to make sure the cigar performs the way it should.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So yeah, I mean, a lot of different variables to consider, because it's not just flavor at the end of the day. Like you said, different leaves will affect the combustion differently. So you can't just put anything together that you want. The cigar probably won't even smoke right. So there's a lot of, not only is it an art form, but it's science behind it too. The way that they blend cigars.
I always tell people that it is the intersection of art and science. You have the science of the different variables that are going into every single harvest. You have the nutrition in the soil, which varietals of tobacco do better in different growing regions because of that. You have the irrigation and having the agronomists going out and working with the farmers to make sure your tobacco is getting absolutely everything it needs and not getting what it shouldn't be getting. Make sure you harvest at the right time. Your complete control as much as you can of those elements, but then you have to hand off all that tobacco to the artisans who are the rollers, right? The way I describe it, it's kind of the opposite of a sniper or, let's say, a deer hunter. You are stable and your target is moving. For us, because consistency is exactly what we want, and that's what Davidoff is known for, that consistency, that quality control. We know the target. It's stable. We're the ones that are moving because of those variables that are going into the tobacco. So it's our vertical integration strategy, we call it crop to shop. So you try to control as much as you can to make sure it is that much easier to control that consistency for that final product.
And that's true because the tobacco is always changing every year. If you keep the same exact blend for that cigar, it's going to be completely different in 5 years. So that's what you're saying when it comes to trying to control as much as you can so that the target itself is stationary, but all the variables are constantly moving. So you have to kind of have that funnel to where it goes to exactly where you want it to be.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I will say too, we do have to talk about your newest addition to the family.
What's that?
It's something about a Chinese New Year.
That whole deal? Whatever.
I mean, it's a hot topic right now. It literally just hit the shelves like a couple days ago.
Yeah. And so November 20th, the launch of the year, the horse. And I tell you what, that is a phenomenal cigar. 6.5 by 55 ring gauge Toro Especial. So it's not a size we've done before. And on top of that, this is the first time we've ever done a blend with 100% hybrid tobacco. So we have 3-year aged Ecuadorian wrapper leaf, 4-year aged Ecuadorian binder leaf, and then 4 Dominican filler leaves. One of them is 6 years, the other 3 are 10 years. So 43 years of cumulative age with all hybrid tobaccos. Nobody else in the industry has access to any of this tobacco. So this is going to be completely unique. Nobody's seen anything like this before.
That's cool.
Wow.
Right? So when you have a cigar like that, for me, my experience so far has been starts off more of a medium, kind of like Chef's starts out. For me, Chef's stays more medium all the way through. But with the horse, you do get a little bit of a development, and it picks up and it gets a little bit more intensity as you get to that final third. But you get some really nice chocolate and cream and roasted nuts that they play together so well as you transition from each third.
That sounds great. And you also have that little, almost like, looks like a braided horsetail on there too. I thought that was a really nice touch.
Well, so the braided horsetail is actually the Plasencia one.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Did I really mess that up?
Nice
Damn.
Wow. Great job.
They look so similar.
Fail. Yeah.
We're not going to talk about that cigar though.
My favorite looking one was the Year of the Tiger.
That was super unique. Yeah, with
that
the
wrapper
stripes
was
on the
super
wrapper
cool.
leaf. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say the only piece of negative feedback we had on that, and I agree with this, it was just too short.
I agree.
Especially when you get to that kind of midway point, and it is oh so good. It's like I don't have that much more left. It was just one of those where it's like you wish you had just that little extra little bit, and you're definitely burning your fingertips off on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you get to that halfway point, it would just
Yeah.
Because you have that torpedo, so you're cutting off a little bit more with that torpedo head on it.
But in terms of flavor, that was probably my favorite of the Chinese New Year cigars that you've done that I've had.
Yeah.
That was probably my favorite in terms of flavor. And really, I've only had maybe 1 or 2 years before that. I mean, I would say I started smoking in 2017. So when I was getting into Davidoff / like the whole Chinese New Year stuff, it was probably 2018, 2019.
Right.
And then the Tiger was that last one where I was like, ooh, this is really, really good.
Yeah, it's a
and
real good one.
Like you said, the wrapper was just so unique. It was just like, come on.
So was that 2 different like wrapper leaves? How do they do that?
No, so technically I'm not allowed to share that.
Okay.
All right, so after the podcast.
But it was, what I will say, it was 100% natural. It was definitely not painting or anything like that. It was a natural process that we were able to implement for that.
Because it wasn't like a drastic discoloring either. It was subtle enough to where you could tell it was like all natural, but it was, you could still tell there was like those striping kind of coloration almost. So it's very unique.
Only tobacco was used to make that happen. I'll say that.
No, and I would imagine that Davidoff would have nothing to do with like artificially changing the coloring at all.
Hell no.
No.
Zeno would be rolling over in his grave if something like that happened. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Every single cigar has his name on it. That's his legacy. We take that very, very seriously. And he was that type of guy where if it's not absolutely the best possible, then we're not going to do it. Right. So actually one of those things that precipitated the move from Cuba was the lack of quality coming out at that time in the late 80s. So in 1988, he actually had around 135,000 Cuban-made Davidoffs removed from the inventory and destroyed.
Wow.
Because the quality did not live up to his name.
Wow.
And then you moved out totally in 91.
Correct. Yeah. So we moved out in 90 and started production in 90 in the Dominican Republic, but distribution started out of the Dominican Republic in 91.
Wow.
Have you had any of the Cuban Davidoffs?
No, man. I've been blessed to be able to have seen a couple in person.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. Corona downtown.
Yeah.
I don't know about now, but they had them for a while. Yeah.
There was a gentleman, I did the tea event, that Earl Grey and Winston Churchill tea pairing at a place in Dallas. And there was a gentleman who brought a box of Dom Perignons. I think he said they were a box from 1987. And just to be able to see a cigar like that is out of this world.
Yeah.
To know that even still exists.
Yeah. That it was maintained for that long too. And
That's always the question, right? I always worry about cigars that old because you have no idea that chain of custody.
yeah, for 40 something years.
Like, how do you know that somebody didn't at some point in time forget they had them and they were in a humidor, they weren't maintaining, and then all of a sudden, oh, look at that. Maybe I should try to bring this back. And that could happen at any point in time to anybody.
Yeah,
To
and I
any-
guess-
Or like their Boveda pack, dried up over the years.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, the 1980 Boveda. Well, I guess you really wouldn't know until you do smoke it and then just like kind of gauge for yourself if it was properly maintained or not. But yeah, outside of that, you really don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Have no idea. And I always tell people cigars are pretty much a 1-to-1 correlation throughout the entire process, up even to the final product with wine. Because with whiskey, once it's out of the barrel and in glass, it's done. So, like, if this bottle was from 5 years ago,
Mhm.
it's still what it was then.
Right.
Yeah.
But for wine and cigars, they continue to evolve, and that's why we nerd out about aging cigars, and people have their cellars in aging wine, but you don't know where that peak is
Yeah.
until you consume it.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, if you want to have a box like Davidoff Maduro, shameless plug, and you want to maybe enjoy one once a year, and then you get to the point where you feel like it hits its peak, and then you see it kind of taking a downturn, smoke the rest of the box.
Hmm.
They're as good as they're going to be. You've gotten to that point. Enjoy them. Invite some friends over. Have a great wine. Have a great scotch, and enjoy the rest of that box.
Yeah. I guess that is part of the mystery too, is because especially when you have a new cigar that comes out that hasn't been in production,
Mm-hmm.
no one knows where that peak is. It could be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. But yeah, we're all finding out for ourselves.
Correct.
If you have something that's been in production for a while, you can have a general idea of where the peak might be. But yeah, something that came out like the Year of the Horse, for example, this one specifically,
Mhm.
we're going to have to find out for ourselves, like where that peak might be. And
Right.
two, it might be, 3 or 4 years for me and it might be 7 years for you. That's another thing.
Palate.
Yeah.
Everybody's palate's different. And it's one of those things where when I do my events, when I travel around and have people show up and we're enjoying cigars together, I always try to make it as engaging as possible. I don't want to be talking at people the entire time. I talk a lot enough. So I want to make sure they're getting something out of it and participating. They remember a lot more when they are part of the conversation. So I try to ask everybody what they are getting from the cigar, what the cigar is telling them before I start to say flavor notes. Because power of suggestion is a very real thing.
It creates bias right
100%.
away, right?
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does. But if somebody sees, for example, we have our blend breakdown sheets and it shows the different tobaccos and what you're supposed to get in each third. If they see something on there that they are not experiencing, that's okay. Right? And if they are getting something that's not on there, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with having the conversation with everybody else in the room. If somebody says it tastes like white pepper and somebody says it tastes like cinnamon, those might be kind of far off, but for them, that's their reality.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where we like to geek out, and I've been smoking cigars for 20 years. So I've had a lot of time to develop my palate and figure stuff out for myself. But especially if somebody's newer, don't feel like you are not able to participate.
Yeah.
Or be part of the
100%.
conversation or beat yourself down for whatever reason because you are not at somebody else's level.
Right.
We all had our first cigar at some point in time. We've all been on a journey,
Mhm.
and every single journey is unique to the individual.
Yeah.
So participate, because that might actually help out your own journey too.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, when I first started smoking cigars, people were telling me about flavor notes and stuff that they were tasting. And I was like, I don't know, bro. It just tastes great.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell you that it tastes good, or I
Which
can
is
tell you
the
that this
most
tastes bad.
important
Yeah.
thing when we enjoy cigars. Do you like it? Do you not like it?
Right.
Period. Full stop.
I think that should hold more value or more weight than some people might imagine. Because it took me probably about 3 years before I was finally like, oh, you know what? I feel like I can pinpoint what this flavor note is. Like I do taste cocoa or I do taste cedar or whatever. Whereas before, like I said, it was just a really good cigar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that, like you said, at the end of the day, whether you like it or not should have the most weight possible when it comes to picking a cigar. It shouldn't be like, searching for specific flavor notes, because my palate of the stuff that I generally enjoy is great, but I might have a cigar that's on the opposite spectrum and still really enjoy it. It's just not what I traditionally smoke.
Sure.
Yeah. I think smoking cigars is similar like wine. Like I like wine a lot, but if I like it, I'll wait a little bit before I read the back of the bottle to see all the different flavors that are added, especially if it's a blend or not. I think cigars are the exact same way. I want to smoke something first, then ask someone else's opinion, because I don't want to have their opinion affect mine.
Sure.
And try to dive into it myself. Even if I don't like the cigar, I'll try to finish it just to have the entire cigar done before I actually have like an answer at the end, And
especially even for me still, if I have a cigar I haven't had before, I will try to have it at least 3 times before I pass my judgment on it.
That's even better.
Because you have so many variables that go into it. Mood, what you had to eat today, what you've had to drink today, your environment, huge part of it. So when you are able to attach more similarities to those different experiences, chances are that's more so the actual cigar. And so the things that change might have been impacted by all those other variables. So when I first started, I had a notebook. And I would take the band off and I would tape it in there and I would take copious notes. I'd sit down and I'd write. I'd write down the different types of tobacco if I had that information. I would say if it's morning with coffee, no coffee, is it hot, is it cold? If I've had breakfast that morning, if I'm having it after dinner, I would just take as many notes as possible, and then I would go back and I would figure out what all the different qualities were. And so I would be able to figure out about information about the same cigar, but then also I was able to help define my palate too. Yeah. Because then I could say, oh, well, I like this blend, this blend, this blend, this blend from these different manufacturers. Oh, well, these are all primarily Nicaraguan tobacco, or these are all primarily Dominican tobacco. And so you're able to kind of speed up that figuring out, because we'll start at, let's say, Zino Nicaragua. Great entry-level cigar, great experience, great price point. You enjoy those for a while, and then you start to want a little bit more variety. So then you go to Camacho, right? You have great experiences with all those blends, and you want to they're more bold, they're more in your face, but then you want to have something a little bit more refined, but still have some really nice variety. Then you go to Avo. So then you enjoy the Avos, you play around in that brand for a while. And then it's like, okay, ready for Davidoff, let's go there. And then you start, and then you figure out where your palate is, because we'll smoke through a spectrum, and then I find we'll kind of come back and we kind of figure out our wheelhouse, which will change over the years. Yeah, by the way,
100%. I actually have a Davidoff briefcase that has like a
2021.
Yeah, and it has like a little notepad in there where you can write down your notes.
Yeah, the little passport.
Yeah.
It's a very, very useful tool.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the movie Hot Fuzz?
No.
Yes.
Years ago.
Simon Pegg, Nick Frost.
Yeah.
They're cops.
Yeah.
And so one of those lines in there, the most powerful tool, and Simon Pegg holds up his notebook, and he uses it just in a speeding traffic stop type deal. And he uses his notebook and blows Nick Frost's mind on how he uses it, but kind of in a roundabout way to bring it back to here. It's a really, really useful tool.
Great movie too. You should watch that. It's hilarious. It's been years since I've seen that movie. It's funny. But yeah, and two, like you said, your palate and what you like changes all the time. I mean, when I first started smoking cigars, I was smoking Padron Maduros, and then I went to Davidoff after that. And then, so I kind of did the opposite. I was doing the really like expensive stuff, and then I was like, oh, I could save money and get like, some $10 cigars.
Sure, yeah.
So for a long time, I was, more full body, full strength. Then it kind of transitioned to the lighter side of things. Then for a while, I was in the middle. And now I find myself leaning more towards that light to medium kind of section. So it's just over the years, it's always fluctuating.
So let me ask each of you guys a question. Now that we've been enjoying cigars for as long as we have, right? And you figured out kind of where your wheelhouse is. Do you ever find where rut's is not the proper term. It's more of just a habit, and you'll be leaning more towards either a intensity style of cigar or even, more like if for a while you're mild and mild plus. And then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I want to try something different. And you go to super full and you'll do that for a while. And then you're like, you know what? Let me try it back down to medium. And then also the same thing with formats. Do you ever lean towards Toros for a while? And then you're like, you know what? I want something that's going to be a little bit shorter, either based on schedule changes or just I want to have more cigars. So I'll go down to Coronas for a while. And then, you know what? I'm going to enjoy Churchills. Do you ever find yourselves in kind of small time frames of a habit?
You answer first.
For me, I mainly smoke Toros.
Okay.
But I do like Lanceros. The last Lancero I had was an Aganorsa leaf. It was fantastic.
Sure.
But most of the time, I like smoking more intense cigars, like mainly Maduros. I like strong flavors. I also do like a lot of spice too, but mainly on that darker side, more intense side.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and he's been pretty consistent with
Yeah,
that,
I'm
which is
consistent.
why I had you answer first.
All right.
You're good.
I think size-wise, I just prefer like a smaller ring gauge.
Yeah.
That's about it. I don't like to go 60 or above that.
The largest I'm usually comfortable with is a 54 ish.
Yeah, me too.
If I get too much larger than that, then it's like it's not quite the same, right? But I feel like the 54 is kind of that limit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
me.
agree. Yeah.
And it took a while for me to find that out because, or especially early on, I was 60s, sometimes 64.
Yeah. So is he.
Every once in a while, 70s. I think there was was a CAO. I think I think it was a La Gloria Cubana back then. I think that was before the general purchase, maybe. But I think they had a larger ring gauge. That might have been like a 64.
Okay.
But yeah, it eventually I was like, you know what? Not my jam.
Yeah. And I think flavor-wise, I like shift a lot.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of just depends on like when I get to smoke a cigar. So like typically like if I get to smoke a cigar later in the day, most of the time I'm leaning towards like a heavier body cigar. But like if I have a lot of time off in the mornings and I'm going in the mornings, I'm leaning towards, more like a medium to lower, I don't know. I fluctuate a lot. You could ask him. I'm always changing.
My favorite way to start the day, by the way, is a Grand Cru, Davidoff Grand Cru number 2.
Yeah.
Espresso, twist of lemon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
So you get treated right when you go to Cigars on the Ave and they make you that espresso with the lemon in there.
Tristan is awesome over there. By the way, we have the same first name.
I was going to bring that
My
up.
first
You
name
wanna
is
talk about that?
Tristan.
I was actually going to bring that up because we were talking about you. Tristan and I were talking about you for some reason. And I said, Alex. And he goes, who? I'm like, no, Alex, the brand ambassador, Davidoff. Oh, you mean Tristan? Yeah. Yeah, we actually have the same name.
Yeah.
I saw him at PCA, whatever. So next time I saw him, I was like, hey, we're having, Tristan on the podcast in a couple weeks. He goes, who? I'm like,
No way.
bro, Alex.
I'm
He's
gonna-
like, oh, yeah. I'm like,
gonna give him
dude.
so much shit. Oh my god, that's funny.
I'm like, you're the only person that I would refer to him as Tristan, and you just blew it. So that was funny. But yeah, again, they take care of you over there. I mean,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they do such a great job. Yeah, Don,
Yeah, they
Rich, Tristan. They have a new tobacconist over there too. I haven't
met him yet.
Great guy. He's hit the ground running over there.
Yeah,
He's been on a lot of their social media recently.
I was going to say that. Yeah, I saw that he was a part of the team now. I haven't had a chance to go while he was working.
Yeah,
to meet him, but I mean, he's been putting in the work for sure.
I want to say, I feel like his name's Mark.
It's a good name.
Might be some bias there.
Yeah, for
out.
whatever reason. So my name actually comes from a BBC television show. So both my parents were veterinarians, and there used to be this show on BBC called All Creatures Great and Small about veterinarians in England and the UK. And one of the characters' name was Tristan, and my mom really liked it, so I was Tristan. But from the day I came home from the hospital, they've always called me Alex.
And is that your middle name?
Alexander?
Okay,
Yeah, and so they've always called me Alex.
She didn't like it that much then.
Maybe one day I'll start going by Tristan because it's like Zeno going by his nickname. And then once you get older, a little bit more developed in your life, and then you go to your real first name, Tristan.
Well, what you gotta do is you gotta filter it out, right? So when you meet someone you don't really like them or vibe with them that much, you give them Tristan, you know?
So I know.
So you know.
how and where I met them.
They'll be like, hey, Tristan. And you're like, oh my God, this guy again?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, I gotta go. So for you.
Yes. I would say that I generally find myself, not all of me, but one of me, smoking.
Which personality today?
It depends. For the most part, I would say 50 ring gauge, like Robusto Toro, is kind of just my go-to. But I definitely prefer smaller ring gauges. So half Coronas, Lanceros, just petite Coronas, anything of that sort. And then I would say right now, I'm definitely leaning towards that mild to medium body flavor profile, especially the more like aged cigars.
Sure.
But what's great about that is when I do have a darker cigar that has maybe more full body or full strength, I appreciate it so much more because it's kind of like counteracting what I have been enjoying for so long. Okay. It's almost like when you include that opposite in there, you have a better appreciation for it. So for me, unlike Mark that kind of switches back and forth all the time, it was just kind of a gradual change. So I go through seasons, I guess you could say, of what I really prefer. But of course, I do always kind of bounce around and smoke different stuff, but the majority of the time it will be that specific flavor profile and body type, which right now is that medium to full.
Yeah. That's one of the great things I feel like about having habits like that, though, because if I'm enjoying mild or mild plus cigars for a while, and then I go to something that's medium plus, I feel like I have that cigar and I could be intimately familiar with it. I'm like, man, where's this been for the last 6-8 weeks? This is so good. But then I can also go from super full for a while and go just throw it in reverse and go to a mild and be like, the nuance to this thing is mind blowing. This is an incredible blend. So yes, it's amazing to have people who are enjoying Davidoff every single day, right? It's amazing to have some people that just really loves a specific Davidoff blend. You've got to burn to learn, and just that variety is the spice of life is a very real thing for us. So try different stuff. There's a reason why we come out with, and especially this time of year, we're really big on our gifting season, the gift sets and their samplers. So you can either for yourself or even for somebody if you don't know how to purchase for them, if it's a gift, samplers, 100%. There are different sizes, there are different blends, and so you can kind of give them something special no matter which one they choose.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I really like too is those Nicaragua 10s that you guys have?
The Primeros.
Yeah. Those are really good because they're like really small ring gauge, so I think they're great.
Absolutely, and especially something like that, you can have a quality cigar like a Davidoff if you don't have that much time.
Yeah, for sure.
You can check that box and scratch that itch without having to dedicate an hour or more to a cigar.
I will say, too, you used to have the Nicaragua Maduro version of those tins. Very upset that you guys discontinued those. But those were my jam for
those
quite
were really
a bit.
good,
Yeah. And then, too, I mean, you always have the Cigarillos.
Yes.
Too. I mean, you get a box of 20 of those just to like scratch an itch.
Yeah, you have the golds and the silvers for those, and just again, 5 minutes. That's all you need just to kind of enjoy, cut that stress to the umbilical cord to this our stress in our life. Get a little work-life balance, and back to it.
Yeah,
just a nice little reset.
I find myself using those too if we're all hanging out or whatever. Let's say I finish my cigar first and everyone's still smoking. I'm like, well, I can light one or two of these to kind of just fill the time. And now we're all finishing at the same time.
Yeah.
No homo.
You guys are all synced up.
Oh, man. So I'm finishing this up.
Did you purge?
So I did
I think I saw you do
about
it, yeah.
5-10 minutes ago. I was like, I forgot. So I purged it with, probably like an inch and a half left. And it did bring out more flavor. So I think part of the purging thing is like, since you're pushing some of that smoke and a little bit of that, tar that's
kind of build up.
It opens it up a little bit more, so you get another wave of like flavor.
Yeah.
So it didn't change the cigar, but I got more of it again. So it was like I was lighting it for the first time again, getting more of that flavor.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I purge it all the time, so I guess I never really noticed.
Yeah, we were talking about you when Law brought it up. I was like, yeah, Mark probably purges all the time. And for me, when I notice I'm doing it, is because my cigar might be going out a little bit. So I like purge it to kind of try and get the embers to come back up. But yeah, outside of that, I really wouldn't do it. And Mark all the time would be like, do you ever purge your cigar? And I'm like, yes, we've had this conversation. I only do it when you bring it up.
Yeah. It's kind of like when the dentist asks you if you floss. Well, last time I flossed, you did it for me. So
I'll floss this week.
Yeah. Power suggestion.
Actually, sometimes too, if your cigar is tunneling a little bit, if you catch it early, if you just push out for like 10 seconds, a lot of times it'll kind of fix it.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Good to know.
But if you
thankfully, I never have cigars that do that.
That was coming. Yeah.
But when I do, I know how to
yeah.
fix
But you gotta catch it early. If you don't catch it early,
then you're done.
You're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you try to go to the counter and get a replacement, and it just depends.
See how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially if you're smoking a Davidoff, they're like, It wouldn't happen with a Davidoff though, but
correct. Exactly.
if it was of price point.
Yeah, you can have another Davidoff. You got to pay for it. But
I think a lot of it has to do with like how they keep the cigars at the cigar shop.
Yeah, I mean, so many variables, and sometimes it's unfortunately where you go. It might not be,
because I'm not going to name any names, but there's like one specific cigar shop that happens a lot more than like everywhere else I go.
interesting.
Yeah.
How many shops do they have?
one.
So great weather we've been having.
Mark is about to drop. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
It happens though. I mean, and two, sometimes I think it's so hard to control some of those variables too, depending on the size of your humidor too.
Sure.
Like having to maintain a humidor that's massive is almost impossible.
It's a lot of work.
So that's why like rotating cigars is always a great thing. A lot of people that have been in the business for a long time too, you walk in sometimes and you're like, wait a minute, where's Davidoff? Like it used to be right here. Now it's on, over here. So I think having to rotate cigars in the humidor is definitely important because
You're talking about at a retailer.
Yeah.
at a
Okay,
retailer,
got it.
obviously, in your humidor at home,
Mhm.
but even at a retailer, I've noticed that a lot of them will do that just because sometimes if it's closer to where the humidity is coming from, it might get too much humidity. And if it's further away, it might not get enough.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of do what you can to figure out a way where you can keep rotating the cigars and make sure that this section is not getting too much humidity and this section is not getting enough.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, so many variables that go into it, and being a handmade product that's that complex,
Right.
you definitely have to stay on top of it. Even like with your personal humidor, rotating those cigars, checking the humidity every once in a while, that's a chore in itself that you gotta stay on top of.
Yeah. And desktop is one thing, but honestly, more so if you have a case, a tall case.
Yeah.
And like at my house, I have a Cigar Oasis in the bottom. And so, especially when you start to fill it up, it's harder for that humidity to get to the top. So you have to be kind of on top of maintaining that. And kind of a trick that I've used is I have really small Tupperware, and I have completely clean, never used sponges. And I'll put 3 in there, and then I'm putting distilled water, and I put a couple on different shelves. So it kind of helps maintain that little microclimate on each shelf as well. And that Oasis doesn't have to do as much work to try to push that humidity all the way to the top as well.
Gotcha.
So kind of just helping out, trying not to make it work as hard. And I also find I have to refill my Cigar Oasis a lot less frequently.
That makes sense. And two, I had an issue with one of our electric humidors. I had it for probably 2 years, and then for some reason the top shelf was getting over humidified.
Okay.
No idea why. So I took everything out of there and I threw a bunch of Boveda, like dried Bovedas up there to like try and maintain that. Yeah, pull out the humidity and try and maintain it. So now it's working. They are.
Yeah.
Which is great. So I just threw a bunch of them in there, and then I could tell they were starting to gain some of that moisture.
Okay.
And then it leveled out again. So I was like, okay, well, this shelf is just now going to be where I put the Boveda packs. Everything else can stay towards the bottom.
It's weird because humidors have a personality. The cigars have personality, and the humidors have personality. So each one is going to be a little bit different, and how you maintain that is based on what that personality is. So, and again, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, that additional work you're putting into it can actually give you a little bit more enjoyment and appreciation for what it is, and what you're enjoying in that time beautifully filled when you're enjoying that cigar.
Absolutely.
So what's your go-to Davidoff?
I have 5.
Okay.
So
Throughout the day, or
so that's a huge part of it, and it's all the variables that go into enjoying a cigar. So, like, starting off, Grand Cru number 2, espresso twist lemon, fantastic. Escurio Corona Gorda. I also have an appreciation for the smaller ring gauges, right? And again, you get a lot of flavor, you got a lot of variety, but not too much intensity. So that can be great kind of anytime. Aniversario number 3, which if you're a fan of Davidoff, you definitely know any 3, and chances are it's going to be in your top couple. Now, the Colorado Claro specialty. First off, very special for us here in the United States because it is a U.S. only product. No other global market has the Colorado Claro. It is the same blend as Aniversario. Same exact blend. The only difference is the wrapper leaf on the outside. Shade grown versus sun grown. So what's really cool, because it's the same blend, we also offer it in all the same sizes. So a fun exercise to try at home, I always tell people, you can do a vertical tasting. So same size of each. You have them either at the same time or one right after another. It's just Aniversario first, then Colorado Claro. But because the only difference is the wrapper leaf, any difference you have in that experience is going to be because of the wrapper leaf. So you're now actively educating your own palate on the impact of wrapper leaf.
Wow.
Right? So it's kind of fun to figure that out for yourself. And then that last one is going to be that Millennium Short Robusto. If I want something that's going to really have that oomph I'm looking for, that checks the box really, really nicely.
So the Colorado Claro is the one cigar I always forget about, but it really was one of my favorites for a while. And I just kind of forgot about it because I think I was trying different Davidoffs too around that time. Because the Colorado Claro was one of the first Davidoffs I smoked. So I had a few of them and it was like really good. Then I went throughout the portfolio and I kind of just forgot about it. But every time someone brings it up, I'm like, dude, you know how long it's been since I've had a Colorado Claro? And it's like, that cigar hits really good.
I feel like that would be a really good Thanksgiving cigar.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Real quick.
That Colorado's, yeah.
Time itself. What time is it?
7:05.
Okay. Are we all good on time?
Yeah, I'm good, yeah.
You still got
I gotta leave. I gotta leave at 8. I'm smoking a brisket.
That's fine.
Heard.
I will say
yes. Understood. Get that.
Does anyone want water? Because I'm going to get a water.
Probably not a bad idea. Why not?
Yeah, I'll take one.
Refresh the palate a little bit.
I have water. So
Do you want a water?
Yeah.
We can take a break.
Okay. Cool. We also have more cigars.
We're taking a break on here?
Yeah, same. So stop the recording and then we'll...
Oh, okay, yeah.
We don't have to take a break. We can continue without you.
I mean, you can. I don't care. That's fine. You guys are keep going.
We keep going.
Keep going.
I am at the women wheel, you guys. Whatever you want, I'm cool with it.
So
I also brought Millennium torpedoes with me for everybody too.
Oh,
So,
cool. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So how often does Davidoff make like a like a special edition cigar for like a lounge. Because I know they have the Tampa for a while.
Sure, yeah.
But they also have one in Destin for Luke Bryan because he owns a cigar shop up there.
Yeah, so that one's a little bit different because that one is a blend that's always going to be available to them. But we will do exclusives that will be that kind of one run and done as well. And we do that usually for maybe anywhere from 3 to 5 shops every year. So how that decision is made, which shops are given that opportunity, that's way above my level. So I'm not sure how that kind of works out. But yeah, we usually, what we'll do is we'll have a couple test blends. We'll send the samples to the shop. They will taste through what is available and then they make that determination. And so they're selecting that for themselves.
Gotcha. So they're kind of involved in the whole process.
Yes. Yeah. Which is super cool. It's very unique. That blend is unique to that shop. And sometimes they're also different formats as well. So you can get some really, really, really cool cigars that way when you're looking for exclusives like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found out about that Luke Bryan one just off the internet.
Yeah.
I didn't know he owned a cigar lounge.
Yeah. So he's part of Sure Thing Cigars. So they have Destin as well as their newer shop in Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Yeah.
So what was really cool about that store, at least for me, was we have every year a rolling tour. So we'll actually fly up one of our master rollers up from the Dominican Republic. That's actually how I met Jared and Alex, because we had the last one this year at Empire Social. So they were there. And so last year we were up at Gulf Shores and it was part of their grand opening event. So we actually got to be there and see the grand opening, but Luke Bryan was there. Actually got a chance to meet him, get some pictures with him, and even he had a chance to apply wrapper leaf to one of the cigars. So our master roller was able to help walk him through that process, which is not easy at all. That is a very, very tough thing to do. The very first time I attempted to apply wrapper leaf to a cylinder, it took me about 8 minutes and they had to go back and fix it still.
Yeah.
Our rollers are able to do that at a Davidoff quality in anywhere from 50 to 55 seconds on average.
That's crazy.
It's wild to watch them work and do that. Got an extra
So-
So I'm curious why Alex brought the only water that would destroy our palate for cigars.
Don't knock it till you try it, bro.
I'm just saying.
The mintiness will enliven our palate.
So that event in Miami, as I remember, I think the individual rolled like 500 cigars in a few hours, right?
For that event. So the way that works is they will have 300 cigars available in total, but 60 of them will be rolled on site. Okay. So the first 240 show up in 10 count bundles. So they'll have 24 10 count bundles, and then they will have the 60 manufactured on site. So we will show up with 3 bunches of 10 cylinders already manufactured. So you have the filler tobacco and the binder in there, and they're pressed in the molds. But then she will start off with doing the bunch of the filler and applying the binder leaf for the next 30, puts them in the press. Then while those are sitting in the press, actually will go ahead and apply the wrapper leaf to the 60 that already had. I actually have Millennium as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say no.
I'll take one.
Are they shorter?
They are not. They are pyramids. So
I'm just being conscious of Mark.
I can fish in an hour.
I think
Spoiling us.
I think we know Jared can.
Yeah, Jared will have a
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Another one that I haven't had in quite a while.
Okay.
The Millennium.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember exactly, but this is definitely one that I would like come back to every now and then.
Yeah.
Unlike the Colorado Clara, which was kind of forgotten. This one, I would be like, yeah, you know what? It's been a while.
It makes
I'll
a
have one of these.
reappearance every once in a while.
It does,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So just be clear, that night she rolled 60 full cigars.
There, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought, I swear we were told it was like 100 or something.
Rounding up.
Math. What's math? That's law math.
Regardless, in the amount of time she did that. So it was what, maybe only an hour or so of actually rolling the cigars?
No, so actually, because we got there early.
Okay.
So in total, for those 60 cigars, because they need to be in the molds in the press for at least 2-3 hours.
Okay.
So what happens is those bunches sit there in the press for, let's say, hour and a half. And then she has to go in and rotate each one 90 degrees. And then they get repressed. So they're in there for a while. So in total, let's say it takes about anywhere from 3 to 3.5 hours.
Okay. So maybe they were talking about just the wrapper itself then? Or are you saying did they put them in the mold with the wrapper on? Or
wrapper's not on.
Okay, so maybe they were referring to
the mold would destroy the wrapper leaf.
So once they're out of the mold and then she puts the wrapper on, maybe that's what they were referring to in terms of maybe it was only an hour or so where she was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I mean, I've put wrappers on a couple cigars because there was an event I went to and they had a rolling class, and basically they would give you the mold and you would just put the wrapper on. And I mean, even that, for my first time, I was like, it took me probably like 5 minutes to put it on. But of course, it looks like absolute dog shit compared to like what we're smoking now. But yeah, I mean, so to just do that repetitively and perfectly for, let's say it was 60 an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Regardless, that is insane.
It's
work.
impressive.
Yeah.
And for us, you're looking at anywhere from like 350 to 600 cigars in a day at the factory.
Yeah.
So, and our cigars are manufactured by 2 people. So in that event, it's called Torcedores on Tour because a torcedor is the person who is doing all the work. They're doing the bunch, the binding, and the wrapper leaf. So we have pegadores and we have buncheros. The buncheros are the ones that make the bunch. So they take that filler tobacco, bunch it up, and then they put that binder, apply the binder leaf, and put them in the molds. So the pegador is the person who applies the wrapper leaf. And then on top of that, she was applying the bands. So she was legitimately
about that.
She was legitimately doing the job of 3 people that night. Banding, all that stuff is done in a completely different area of the factory.
Yeah.
So she was able to do all of that for us.
I didn't even think about that. And Zach and I have had our fair share of putting bands on cigars.
Oh yeah.
And that by itself sucks.
So my first trip down to the factory, they had me band 50 Nicaragua short Coronas.
How long did it take you?
Well, it was like doing 120 because we had to go back and redo them over and over and over again.
Of course.
Because so at the factory, they have a kind of a guide. So just the fact that she was doing that freehand is a big deal. But they have a guide, but then you have to get the band on there tight enough so it'll fit cleanly into the cellophane.
Right.
But you don't want it too tight because you don't want it to damage the wrapper leaf. And then obviously you want to make sure you get the glue on there properly.
The right amount of glue.
Exactly. You don't want to overdo it and take the band off and damage your wrapper leaf that way either. So even that part takes so much attention to detail. It is wild. And for us, it is every single step of the process. There's 300 hands that are in some way, shape, or form associated with putting these cigars together for us from the fields all the way to the final boxing, right?
Yeah.
And every single step, every single person is a true master of what they do. We have people who we take very, very good care of our people. So we are very much a people company because this is what this industry is about, not only from an enjoyment standpoint, but also from the manufacturing standpoint. And because of the way we take care of our people, we have 20, 25, 30-year veterans.
Wow.
Who've been with us that entire time. And you get to experience that in every single draw you take.
I think it's definitely a underappreciated position, meaning the people that are actually producing these cigars. Obviously, being in the industry, like you working for the company, you all appreciate these people very well. But for the average consumer, I think it's just not something that's often thought about. But like you said, the work that's being put in to make just one cigar is tedious, time consuming, and you have to have the years of practice to even work at a place like Davidoff.
It's not easy just for our rollers to be able to attempt your first Davidoff cigar as a roller. You have to have a minimum of 10 years rolling experience.
Wow.
So other manufacturers that might be considered a master level, but at least for us, That is entry level. That's to be allowed to walk through the front door of the Galera. So then you have your master rollers like Aura, who was there with us at Empire, who has at least 15 years experience and has proven themselves above and beyond the Davidoff quality control standards. So on top of all that, if you want to be a master roller for us, you have to have a position open because we only have 8. Only 8 positions.
Wow.
And they're the ones that get to play with the supremely old and rare in terms of tobacco. So they're the ones doing the super premiums like the Royal Release, the Oro Blanco, or any of the limited edition cigars.
I'm sure there's not often positions open for that role.
No, because they're not leaving. They're not choosing to leave. They've already been with us for that long. They want to stay with us. So basically they have to retire whenever they decide to do that.
Did you tell him, I know it was out, did you tell him we had a chance to try that Especialis number 7?
So you brought it up on the last episode.
Yeah, I figured
that with Alex, you're able to.
Yes, Alex and Byron. Yeah, they were so gracious enough to give us some of those.
Thoughts?
Another Alex, by the way.
Too many Alexes.
Strong name. Strong name.
Thoughts. I'll tell you my thoughts.
Yeah.
You need to watch that episode. No, I'm kidding. Because we smoked it on the podcast with them. Jared and I were both very, very pleased with that cigar. Flavor was fantastic. Mm-hmm. The construction, the draw. I mean, it was as close as to perfection as it can be. I really did enjoy that cigar.
And we paired that with tequila.
We did pair that with tequila, which
haven't tried that. Okay,
it was a good pairing.
Yeah,
I will tell you that also hit my current sweet spot of like where I want to be with that kind of mild to medium range in terms of body and flavor. It just really hit perfectly. So
what tequila?
I want to say Casamigos.
No, it wasn't Casamigos. Sorry, what's the one with the bell? I always forget the name.
Clase Azul.
Thank you.
Azul.
Clase Azul. You were close. It was Clase Azul.
So that blend originally came out in 2004. And it's really interesting because at that time, there were really no other manufacturers that were trying to do a 5-filler blend. So we did it. We did it the Davidoff way, got a 9.9 rating, as Law mentioned. So we knocked it out of the park. But limited edition, do it, and it's done. Re-released it in 2019. So it was 15 years since it had been on the market. Did it as another limited edition then. And so now, for last year, as well as this year's roller tour, we made that blend available. And it's really cool because did you guys have the Discovery limited edition from 2022? Or is it a combination of Escurio, Nicaragua, and Yamasá all in one? A larger engage, I think.
I think I did. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure I had that on my birthday, actually.
Okay.
And there's a picture on social media somewhere of me smoking that cigar. I had it at Cigar Hustler, actually, because I got it and we went there for some reason. But I do remember having that. Yeah, it was like it was a 56, maybe.
It was either a 56 or a 60. It was a larger engage.
Okay, yeah.
I think it was a 56 though.
Yeah.
Well, being a combination of all 3 of those blends. That's what the Especialis 7 is. It's a combination of Signature, Grand Cru, Anniversario, and Millennium.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep. 5-filler blend, binder, wrapper, 7 leaves. Especialis 7.
That's awesome. Yeah, and like Law was saying, a 99 rating.
When was the last time that happened? Like that's not easy.
No.
It's not easy at all.
And well deserved too. I mean, that really was a fantastic cigar. And two, a lot of times, like when I'm on the podcast and I'm smoking a cigar, obviously it doesn't really have my full attention. But at that cigar specifically was drawing my attention away from the podcast. Mm-hmm. So once I finished, I was like, oh yeah, anyway, back to you guys. Like it was really enjoyable.
Purging. Kind of let it go out. Just talking too much.
I know.
No.
We're heavily leaning on you to do all the talking.
Which is great though.
When I'm not lighting a cigar, then I can do that.
No, yeah, we say all the time. I mean, the guests that sit in this chair, we let them share the story. We let them talk about it because they're the experts, of course. Makes our job easier too at the end of the day.
Well, it helps that I did radio.
Yeah, and that too.
So
yeah,
I kind of can lean on that. I kind of get that.
You're a professional in all aspects on today's show.
Just say yes. It's okay, just say yes.
Just take the compliment.
Absolutely. Yeah, I did sports talk radio for 6 years. That was awesome. That was really cool. I've been able to travel the country and down to the DR and be a part of events and be places I never thought I would have been with the cigar business and met some amazing people. But being in sports talk radio also gave me that opportunity. And that was so cool. So when I was in the Air Force and I got out and I came back home to Florida, and I really didn't have much going on then. So I actually started working for my best friend's dad, who's been now doing independent sports talk radio in the Tampa Bay area. I think if he's not at 40 years yet, he's pretty close.
Okay,
so
yeah.
Very, very well established. And he's also one of the first journalists to start covering MMA
Really?
and the UFC. I think his first UFC was UFC 11.
Wow.
I want to say.
Really early.
So
Really early.
quick shout out, Knockout Radio, Randy Harris, Talking Sports Network.
Great name.
And to be able to go to some of these events and not only see the events, but then also meet the people that are participating or showing up to these events has really been a highlight of my life. And to be able to just experience that, because that's not something that I really thought I would ever have the opportunity to do. And when I was in the Air Force, I was an intelligence analyst, so I would make PowerPoint presentations and I'd have to stand up and brief. And I never thought I would be able to use that type of skill set outside of the military. And then to be able to take something I was passionate about, especially back then in sports, because I've been an athlete all my life. I've always usually either baseball or soccer. I still play soccer every Monday night now.
Wow.
But to be able to take that and turn it into a job and absolutely, it's a cliche for a reason. If you're doing what you're passionate about for your job or your career, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
Right? That is so true. So to be able to then really get nerdy and focus on sports in that way and be able to share my thoughts and participate was really cool. And then to be able to do that again with cigars is wild.
Yeah.
And I will say with cigars, I was a little hesitant when I first started in the industry. And I came from retail. I was a tobacconist and general manager over at Central Cigars and Ruby's Elixir in downtown St. Pete, Florida.
Shout out to those guys.
Shout out to them.
Nice.
Absolutely. Amazing spot. Been there for 28 years since February 1997. Greg Haddad, legend down there. His son Hank is amazing. He's taken the reins and run very well with that spot down there.
Congratulations are in order, by the way, for them, because they are now an official Davidoff retailer.
So first it was a bar account. It was what we call a Grand Reserve account. So they were able to have a certain number of facings, but not that full facings. So now, being an appointed merchant, one of fewer than 300 in the United States, now they have everything, and you get the limited editions as well there. So great spot. But I was kind of worried when I first started as a tobacconist because I was not sure if I would burn out on cigars. So that can be kind of that slippery slope. If you do something you enjoy, but then you turn it into work, that's something that can happen. And the complete opposite ended up taking place. The passion was just that much more. Those flames were fanned, if you will. And so now I got to learn the retail side of it. And then now to be with Davidoff, they actually reached out to me to see if I was interested in this position and to be able to understand what the irrigation and the soil means to the tobacco, to understand what fermentation means to tobacco processing, to understand what goes into the skill set of being a roller or a blender. Is now I feel like I've started to come full circle in my experience from enjoyer to retailer to the manufacturing side. And it's something that's cool also because I'm learning every day. And the second somebody tells you they know everything about cigars, you know they're full of shit. You have somebody like
100%.
Jose Blanco. Oh my God. There's a reason why they call him the professor.
Mhm.
And he still says he's learning, right? He's been in the industry forever and he's still learning. And you have that repeated throughout the rest of the industry. So many people who've given their lives to cigars.
Yeah.
And there's still always something new to learn.
No, I tell people sometimes, like, listen, I feel like I know a lot about cigars, but what that actually translates to is I know 0.1% of everything there is to know. Because you're right. This industry is so much information, so much history. It's very complex. And yeah, exactly like you said. If you think you know half of what there is to know about this industry,
You probably don't.
you don't. No, absolutely
Yeah,
not.
exactly. So one of the things that I used to do always was every couple months at Central Cigars, I would put on Hand Rolled. I would watch Hand Rolled, and I would have it was great for business because sometimes people would come in for a cigar and maybe a drink during their lunch break, and then they end up staying a little bit longer and maybe buy another stick or have another beverage. But it was always cool because it gave the consumer a little bit more of that insight into the industry, and especially people who didn't know how to learn that next step and get a little bit more into the weeds, then it opens up that world. And again, you develop the appreciation. And that's what this industry is about. It's about appreciating the cigars and then also appreciating the time we have with that cigar and then appreciating the camaraderie and the community that is built around that.
Yeah. It's almost like there's always another step you can take.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, like you said, if you really are passionate about it, there's no burnout. If you can find a way to keep at least moving forward or just in a different position. Because yeah, I mean, like myself as a consumer, I'm teaching myself about all the different cigars, different brands, talking to people that know more than me and learning so much. And then when we decide to actually get into the industry in some format, it's like, okay, now there is this whole other bubble of information that you have to now learn, and you feel like you're starting from scratch again.
Sometimes you didn't even know that existed.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, when we started, we were basically walking in blind, was what it felt like. Because I'm like, yeah, I know quite a bit about cigars. Then you actually start doing it, and you're like, wait a minute. There's a whole another world out there that we don't even know about.
For you guys, each of you, what has been kind of on the spot, but what has been the most difficult thing or the most eye-opening thing for you guys to learn, do you feel?
Great on the spot question. I think that
for me, it was just all the different types of tobacco there are and like the types of different leaves there are and like which regions they come from. That was like, you always hear like Nicaraguan and you always hear like Dominican, and then there's like specific stuff within there and specific regions within there that, mean different things.
To Mark's point, I mean, like with the wine idea I brought before, it's like I'm still learning new flavors almost every single day because there's like variations of the same flavor. Then when you go to pair it, it creates another complexity, which you may like or don't like.
Sure.
And so I'm always learning something new when it comes to flavor.
Okay.
I think this is kind of something that I think about more and more, but I come to find that the industry, especially on the back end, is so much more complex than I realized. And I've found kind of a new appreciation for different factories and different brands and what the work that actually goes into producing what they do. And kind of learning the differentiation between, like, for example, legacy brands versus boutique brands versus, people that just maybe rebrand cigars.
Yeah.
I think that the back end of the industry is so much more complicated, and you can actually learn that there is some scumminess to it with certain people. It is out there. I think that it helps me appreciate certain companies more when you learn about the history of what they've done or just anything on the back end of like what's going on with manufacturing or just like the industry overall. It's it's a very complicated industry, and from the outside, it doesn't really seem like it.
Yeah.
But there is a lot going on in the back end that most people just don't realize.
Yeah.
So I think that
It's kind of the iceberg. You have what you see
Yeah,
above
what you
the water
see.
and then that
Yeah.
massive part underneath.
So I think that just for me personally, I've discovered so much that actually has been going on the back end. And it kind of gave me a new outlook on certain things, down to the fact where I will, smoke a certain cigar and just have different, like, so not preconceived notions, but I just have a different, like, thinking of that cigar, because it's not just me smoking a product now. It's like all of the history and the back end stuff that you don't know about. That kind of now has creeped into my mindset when I'm smoking certain cigars. So for some brands, it helps. And then for some brands, it's like, it might be a negative thing. Not a lot, but, and I will say too, and especially after this conversation, it's just adding to it, but Davidoff is one of those brands that you further appreciate more when you learn about the legacy of Zino Davidoff and the Davidoff brand itself. It helps you further appreciate, what the brand actually is. Padron, for example, another great legacy brand.
Absolutely.
Fuente. I mean, when you really, because those are all great cigars.
Yeah.
You hand a Davidoff, Fuente, Padron, people know it's a great cigar.
Sure.
But when you actually discover everything that's been going on with the brand that you don't see, it gives you a deeper appreciation for what you actually are smoking.
Well, and a great example is Padron in terms of that family story. A lot of these, so that some of these legacy brands being, they're familial, they're generational.
Yeah.
So a lot of that story and how someone as a consumer attaches to a particular brand, it's the story a lot of times of the trials and tribulations those families had to endure to be able to share their life's passion with the world. And Padron is a great example. I mean, they were trying to kill him. His factories were firebombed. Like, they were going after him because of a picture of him in Cuba handing a cigar to Fidel Castro. And everybody got so upset at that they tried to eliminate his ability to do business and take him out. So when you think about the fact that they've been able to endure through that, and then, oh yeah, by the way, become Padron, it's fascinating to me to think about those stories.
Yeah.
That's how we attach ourselves to brands. It's stories.
And I think for them too, just the fact that they really still truly are a family-owned business, to the point where they don't have.
I think there's only one person whose last name is not Padron.
Right.
Yeah.
But they don't even have actual reps or anything.
Right.
It's
Yep.
literally just the family that's running everything. And obviously they have everyone that's helping them at the factory and on the farm. But yeah, I mean, they don't have sales reps that go out or do anything. Like, it's crazy. A lot when people find that out, it's like, wait a minute. You don't have sales reps. You don't have like this massive company that's over here like distributing cigars. It's like, no, this is the smallest, largest company in the cigar industry that you'll ever see. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I don't like, you give this a lot of times with, like, smaller cigars, is they'll come out of the gate and they'll be like, yeah, we modeled this after the Padron 50. So this is like our Padron 50. And I'm like, okay, well, you're already setting the bar way up here,
Sure.
And the chances of the cigar being as good as a Padron 50 is not as high, but also, like,
especially compared to a smaller brand, if they're just starting out, like, they have a lot more experience doing what they do.
Exactly. And you're not really like making the cigar in your image. You're trying to replicate somebody else's image.
Piggybacking.
Well, yeah.
Success.
Well, I think kind of piggybacking off of that, no pun intended, but like when we first started our own little boutique cigar brand, like I said, it's like, you get flooded with all this information you didn't know. And I think that a lot of times when a boutique brand comes in, I think they believe that they know more than they actually do, or that they can, for example, compete with Padron. I think that they're in for a unpleasant surprise when they soon realize that that's not possible.
Right.
But yeah, it's like coming into this industry as we did and as a lot of people do, sometimes there's not enough appreciation for the people that have been there before them. and people come into this industry with maybe big egos, or they just think they know more than they actually do. And they have to come to the realization that this takes years of experience just to even know a fraction of what there is to know about this industry. So, I mean, it's just to further exemplify some of these legacy brands that have been through it and have gotten to where they are today. Maybe some people may not understand why they deserve the term legacy brand. And there's a lot of great boutique brands that have come up and made a name for themselves. But a lot of times you meet those guys and they're the most humble people in the world.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't have a big head about them.
Right.
They are so appreciative of if they are at a shop, like if a brand principal is at a shop and they see somebody go to the humidor and select their cigar.
Yeah.
They appreciate.
It's like you're the only customer.
They're the only person that matters.
Yeah.
Right? Is anybody who's enjoying that cigar.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think and a lot of the legacy brands are like that too. Like the industry in general is full of a lot of people that are more humble than maybe they have to be.
Mm-hmm.
When they're in that position, it's like you meet that person in real life and you're surprised about how humble they actually are.
Yeah. I
think that the most successful people in this industry, whether they're considered boutique or whether they're legacy, are very humble people. And I think that's I would say that's part of the reason why they are continuing to succeed is because the minute you have a big ego and your head gets a little too big, then it's like, that might be the beginning of your downfall.
Well, a big thing that has always been drilled into me, and I've lived this my entire life, is authenticity. Right? And if you're being authentically you, that means you're not trying to be somebody else. So when you are creating a new brand and you are trying to create your own brand identity and not trying to attach yourself to somebody else who's been there before and trying to piggyback in that way, then I feel like you are going to be set up for a lot more success in that sense, because the cigar consumer is not dumb. They will be able to see through anything that's inauthentic very fast. And the second you prove that to them, it's going to be incredibly hard to get them back.
Yeah.
Right? Be yourself. Right? That is going to take you so much further than anything else.
100%.
You're the only one who can control everything you do. You can't control what others do. Right? Take care of yourself. Be yourself. And everybody will be able to see who you are. And that appreciation level will grow.
Yeah. And I think everything falls in line naturally when you attack it that way. If you're too worried about a fake persona or trying to construct a false reality, then it's that much easier for it to fall apart. But yeah, like you said, if you are yourself, if you have your own brand identity and you stick with that, it's exponential growth at that point. And people will see you as authentic, as real. And there's much more trust in that aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I could not agree more. Could not agree more. So, how's that Millennium treating you?
It's very good.
Yeah.
This one's
you guys?
It's a little on the moist side, but
okay.
Who knows where it's been? I'm sure it's been on the road for quite a bit.
It has, yeah. And I have, so I have this case, but I have another case in the car, and it has I had refilled my little gel pack in there recently.
The flavor is really great, and it's actually it's evening out now. Like it was a little hard to light at the beginning just because it was a little on the wet side, but flavor wise, it's great. It's fantastic.
How long had it been for you guys since you had a Millennium?
I think you gave him one at Empire.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's what you gave him.
Millennium?
Yeah,
okay.
so not too long for him.
I would say
it's probably been a little while actually. Usually when I grab a Davidoff, I usually just grab a late hour, to be honest with you.
I wouldn't say this was wet. I think it was. The flavor is phenomenal for one. The draw is really good. It lit pretty well. I wouldn't say you said it was wet.
No, not wet, but it was a little more on the damp side. That might just be my luck. I guess
luck of the draw.
But no, it still tastes great. It tastes fantastic, and now it's actually smoking a little better.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, I was like trying to light it. I was like,
took a little bit more effort.
Yeah. But yeah, that I mean, especially when it's not in a stable environment, it's like.
Right.
There's always that fluctuation.
Yeah.
That's like being on the road too. You have that in the back of your mind. You're like, oh, I always try to like do my best to check the cigar before I give it to someone where I'm like, make sure it's not too moist or too dry or anything.
Yeah.
But there's always that like thing in the back of your mind
It
where
can
it's
happen.
like, well, yeah. But and two, I think people that do understand that and get that, like especially retailers that I go to, like they understand that and they won't hold it against you a lot of times.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's like, they get it. I totally get it. Especially people that have been on that side of the industry. They're like, like it happens. It's a handmade product. There's so much fluctuation sometimes, especially if you're on the move. It's like, you just have to, that's another topic too. It's like having the understanding of knowing that there's so many variables with one single cigar where, like you said, you want to have a cigar 3 times before you really make it a definitive opinion on it. Because the first one, maybe there was a construction issue. The one out of the box that's not, smoking to perfection. Okay, let's try a second one. Okay, that one's much better. You try a third one. That one also smoked great. Okay, so I just happen to be like Zach. Zach always gets the bad ones out of the bunch.
That guy.
We open a box of cigars and he ends up getting the one that's like not quite there. But just having whether you're
If you wouldn't have bad luck, you wouldn't have any.
That's true. That is, if bad luck and cigars is the only thing that I get bad luck for, I'll take it.
That's great, actually.
Glass half full. Ever the optimist. I love it.
And I still enjoy smoking them.
There you go.
But whether you're a consumer or you're in the industry, just having that understanding of like it's not always going to be perfect,
Right.
should be something that you do understand. Because if you are trying to always reach that level of perfection with every single cigar you smoke, you're just going to be disappointed.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just the unfortunate reality. But like, hey, listen, and if you have that mindset of like, not every cigar is exactly the same,
Right.
then you're just going to enjoy cigars so much more.
Yeah. And if you get lucky and always smoke like a great cigar, just go to Gurkha and then you'll learn to really appreciate the good cigar.
We have a special guest on tonight. We have to limit the.
Your words, not mine. You can always try, right? You strive for perfection. I don't care if it's Davidoff. I don't care if it's another manufacturer. Even, and you guys brought this up with Law, talking about a brand who had said they're actually they're not necessarily trying to get the same every single year.
Right.
I think
Yes.
it was.
Yes. Yeah. So I should have looked that up before we started, but there's
Have you had a conversation with Herklotz?
not on camera
Okay.
or not on the show or anything like that. I've
Okay.
talked with Herklotz. Yeah.
Because that's one of the things about that he's been doing with Ferio Tego.
Maybe it was
Right?
him. Maybe it was just a video I saw.
So
or
because
something.
that's who jumped into my
Okay.
mind when you guys brought it up, because he has like the Generoso and the Elegancia, and they have the foot band. I think now they're going with a higher band, but they have the year on it, and so it's more like a vintage.
Yeah.
Because Michael is very, very much a wine guy, so it's kind of celebrating the differences as opposed to trying to mitigate those differences.
I think that's
in
exactly
that
who it
sense.
was.
Yeah.
Because now
it
it's clicking.
was definitely on the podcast. Yeah.
Oh, really?
What?
It was like
He hasn't been on the podcast.
no, I'm saying the person that we had that conversation with.
Okay.
Okay, so
was on
maybe
the
maybe
podcast.
there was just two
Yeah.
different instances because I do remember seeing a video of him saying that where he was saying, we don't actually change the blend. Okay, but I
Right,
think
yeah.
you're right too. So there's a couple of people out there that do that.
Yeah. I think I cut you off from what you were saying.
It's okay. I don't remember.
Got it.
I think I was answering
talk.
your question anyway. So
Got it. Got it. Oh, actually, I think I was saying something. So it was about talking about striving for perfection, right, and getting that consistency. And yes, obviously, that's what we're trying to do. And so one of those things that we do is when we have our rollers make those cigars, every single cigar before it leaves the rolling floor at our Davidoff factory is inspected by no fewer than 7 supervisors. And so what are those supervisors checking, right? What's the quality control? For the cylinder itself, they're making sure it's not overpacked, not underpacked, no dents, no bulges, right? As uniform as possible. When they're checking the wrap relief, make sure there's no cracks, no blemishes, make sure the cap sits perfectly on top. If there's a problem with the wrap relief, you can easily replace that with another half leaf, but wrap relief is the most expensive, so you want to avoid that as much as possible. If there is a problem with the cylinder, that tobacco cannot be fixed. So we will take that cigar and break it in half. So that tobacco cannot be used for a premium long filler cigar. It can be, it doesn't go to waste. So we can chop it up and make it into medium or short fill, but it will not be a premium cigar.
For like the cigarillos maybe? Or,
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. So I say all of that to say one of the very big feathers in Davidoff's cap is we have less than a 1% rejection rate from our rolling floor.
Wow.
So we are making sure that before those cigars even go to the other part of the factory where we have our resting rooms, they can be as perfect as humanly possible, considering it is a man-made product and it is a one-of-one piece of art.
Yeah.
As perfect as we try to make them, every single cigar is a one-of-one piece of art
And I guess when you say
that we
less
roll
than,
up and we light on fire.
when you say less than 1% chance, I imagine too, a lot of times there might be an issue when it is transported from one place to the other where something might happen. So that way it's like, there's like, for example, in shipping in general, you might have an issue with a cigar. So it might leave the rolling floor like perfection, but at some point it might maybe get a nick in the wrapper or something. Like it just happens.
In theory, yes. Right. But that's, again, going back to our vertical integration, we try to control everything as much as possible. And that's another reason. It's not just a catchy rhyming phrase of crop to shop. It's not crop to warehouse. That's one of the reasons why we are so exclusive in determining which accounts, which business partners we choose to work with. Right. That's why there's fewer than 300 point of merchants throughout the country. It's because even once that product gets to the retailer, they're maintaining the cigar properly and presenting the brand properly to the consumer to make sure when you decide to invest that not insignificant amount of money into that cigar and you are deciding to spend your time beautifully, a lot of times with yourself, because one of the things I always say is when you, how much is your time worth to you? How much money would you pay yourself to hang out with yourself for an hour?
How much is a cigar?
At least this much.
Right? That's my point, though.
Yeah.
Because when you decide to invest that hard-earned money and that time, which also can be kind of exclusive, and maybe we don't always have the ability to take that amount of time out of our schedules, when you do decide to make that decision, that cigar should be as perfect as possible.
Yeah.
As much as we can do in that entire process, we will do it. And we do.
I will say to your point, when you do talk about like cigars that have a perfect wrapper or they just look like perfect in terms of presentation, oftentimes you'll have a consumer say, oh, you like Davidoff. Because and in all honesty, when you look down the shelf and you look at all the Davidoff cigars, it's almost impossible to find any type of blemish on the presentation side of the cigar. So it's like, that is a testament to what you're saying, which is you have the ability to almost guarantee that no cigar is leaving the factory with a blemish on it, essentially.
And it's not only blemishes. It's even making sure that every single cigar in a particular box is the same shade. There's 50 shades of brown. Insert 50 shades of gray joke here. But there are 50 shades of brown that we determine are acceptable for our cigars. For, let's say, Davidoff Nicaragua, for example. There are 7 acceptable shades of brown.
Yeah, because there's always going to be some variety.
Right. But in one box, they're all going to be the same shade. So if you have a wheel of 50 cigars, they will go through and match them up and pair them up and make sure they're all the same shade. And then all of those in the same shade will go into a box. So you have that complete uniformity all the way across for every single box.
Wow.
And I've talked about this too, I think, and you said there's 7 shades of variation that are acceptable.
Specifically for Nicaragua.
Right.
Yeah.
For example, sometimes it has happened, like, I'm not saying Davidoff, but just in general, if you might have a cigar that is the lighter shade of brown, let's say, and then you might down the road get the same exact cigar, but it's much darker.
In the same box.
Same wrapper, everything.
Yeah.
Well, same box, it's even worse.
Yeah.
But just that same cigar with a much darker wrapper will taste completely different.
Sure.
Same wrapper, same blend, everything. But because it's that many shades darker, it will taste very much different.
Tobacco is a living thing. So when you think about all the variables that go into it, there's a reason why you have to pay attention to what's going on through the entire tobacco processing time frame, because you're going to have tobacco. Let's say it ferments a little bit faster. You have one pilon that ferments a little bit faster than this pilon. So it won't be exact. That's why we'll talk about average times in terms of aging or fermentation, because sometimes it'll be faster, sometimes it'll be slower. And when you talk about our fermentation in particular, I always describe it as making the best barbecue in the world, brisket.
100%.
Low and slow. So we go for longer periods of time at lower temperatures. And as we start to get up into our upper thresholds, you have to cool that tobacco down, because it's not done fermenting, but you also don't want it to go too high, too fast, and then potentially alter the tobacco. You can actually scorch tobacco in fermentation, because you have the humidity, the heat, and the weight of the pilon. And as that tobacco pushes down, the temperature in the middle will rise up. And we have thermometers pressed into each pilon, and we annotate that on the clipboards every single day. So when it's time to cool it down, you take the burlap off the top, you grab a handle of tobacco, shake it to cool it down, and you place it on the pallet right next to that original pilon. And for us, it takes 4 people roughly 32 hours to do one time. And over an average 8-month period, that's happening 7, 8, 9 times. So there's a lot of manual labor going into that fermentation, which a lot of people don't understand. Aging is a little bit more set it and forget it in climate controlled areas, but that fermentation, a lot can happen.
Yeah. You always have to have people that are on the ground maintaining that as the process is happening.
Paying attention to it every second possible. Absolutely.
Go ahead. No, I was saying, do you guys ever do like tours of the factory for people?
So actually, no, not just a general open to the public.
Yeah.
So if you are a retailer and you get selected for our Viaje al Origen trips, then we will take you down there. And then Pro Cigar. Pro Cigar Fest, that's the only other time. So it's always the week after Valentine's Day in February. This upcoming one is February 15th through the 20th. Every chance I get, I tell people, go to Pro Cigar.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because you not only get to see the Davidoff factory, but you get to see a lot of different factories. It is a celebration of the Dominican cigar industry. So you have a lot of manufacturers participating. You're not staying in one place. You're in Santiago, Santo Domingo, La Romana. You travel around. You have the massive white party at the end. Everybody's dressed nose to toes in white. You have amazing food, great music, huge charity auction. Manufacturers will donate items, and so you have opportunities to actually get product you don't necessarily always have the opportunity to, and all that money actually goes back into the community.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's a really, really great experience. You can go down and you're coming back with a lot of cigars as well.
Yeah.
So I always highly, highly recommend people take some time out in February and go down to Pro Cigar.
Yeah, I mean, everyone that's been has only said fantastic things about Pro Cigar, and it's definitely on my bucket list to do, for sure.
ProCigar.org.
Yes.
Take a look.
It'd be a good vlog. For us.
That would be a great vlog.
That would be cool. That'd be very cool.
Yeah.
Talk about showcasing some of the best of the best.
Yeah, it's one giant party.
Yeah.
Basically, for those factories there in the Dominican Republic. I mean, I've heard like so many stories about Hochi, Tabacalera Palma.
Awesome.
I mean,
awesome.
Like just all the stories I've heard are almost endless.
Yeah.
Of people's experiences, how well they're treated too. I mean, it's like one of the best things on earth.
The Dominican Republic is amazing, and it's growing like crazy. Tourism is huge for them. They're pretty much getting roughly an additional 1 million tourists year over year. So it's growing very, very quickly. Wherever I've gone, I've never felt unsafe. The food tastes better down there. The cigars taste better down there. The Dominican people talk about hospitality and friendliness out of this world.
Yeah.
Second to none. I absolutely love every second I get to spend down in the Dominican Republic. You'll have an amazing time no matter what. Yeah.
It's definitely something we're going to have to do.
I'm down. You're looking at me. I'm down.
Jared's always down.
I can think of worse ways to spend a week in February. Weather's way better.
Valentine's Day. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, good thing is it's after Valentine's Day, so you can check
Right.
that box, do what you need to do for Valentine's Day, make everybody happy, then go down to the DR for a
Exactly.
bit.
Now it's our time.
Yeah.
The girls get 1 day in February, and then the guys get 5.
You guys golfers?
A little bit.
A little bit.
We should be golfing more.
There's some great courses down there too. Really great. Really great. I went and golfed at a Burrows Star Bavaro out in Punta Cana. So that's been my only spot so far. But you have, I think it's called Oceans 4. I think that's a PGA course down there. You have Teeth of the Dog down there in Casa de Campo as well. They have a lot of really great courses. So you can always extend your stay a little bit
Of course.
and even get a couple rounds in.
Yeah, we had a brief period of time where we were going to the golf course quite a bit,
Mhm.
and then life happened.
Yeah.
It gets everybody, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I usually don't get much of a chance to. I try when I can, but my travel schedule usually does not allow
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Do you get a break at all, like during the Christmas holiday? I imagine that would be a great time too to
Yeah, a little bit.
Golf.
So I have usually about the last 2 weeks of the year where I'm not traveling, and then I'll get a couple weeks between January and February. I am the host for our Viaje trips, so I do go down there in January and February. So I have a little bit of travel. The problem, at least from a golfing standpoint, is I'm in Pinellas Park, Florida,
yeah.
which means it's season. So courses are packed and expensive.
I was gonna say it's such a
So-
great time to golf being in
Yeah.
Florida too. I mean, like we were going in January, and it was like it's fantastic weather because it's nice and cool out. You're not sweating.
The sun zaps you.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So by
yeah,
the
it
time
does.
you're at like the 11th hole, you've got nothing left.
There's been plenty of
Yeah.
times where I hit the 9th hole. And, like usually the course will wrap around, so where by the 9th hole
Yeah.
you get back to where you started. I'm like, do we really want to do another 9
Right,
holes of
yeah.
this? Like,
Have a little gut check at the turn.
you're already 4
Yeah.
beers in. And you're like, well,
4 beers.
4 beers.
Those are rookie numbers.
I was-
We need to
I
bump
was-
those up.
I was trying to make us look like good people, but
I'm usually a 12-pack in by that point.
The problem is whoever loses a hole has to chug a beer, and Alex always loses.
Oh,
so
you do that. Oh.
so I can't walk by the time we're at the 9th hole.
that's right. Thank God they got golf carts.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to walk a little bit more, depending on how straight your ball goes, though.
So I'm walking a lot, Zach. I have good days and I have bad days. They're usually bad days, but it's still fun regardless.
Yeah.
It's fun, especially if you don't take yourself too seriously.
You can't take yourself too seriously. For me, it's like going to the beach or like when you go golfing. Listen, if I have a great cigar, maybe a couple beers, like I'm still enjoying it regardless.
Yeah.
if you're going golf, we're bringing cigars. Like it's a no brainer.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and a bad day on the course is better than a good day at the office.
100%.
Right. So, I mean, you're able to have the time and the money and the appreciation for what it is you're doing. You're doing pretty well.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a for me, that's one of those things where it's all about appreciation. Whatever it is, whatever you're doing, you're appreciating it. You're in a good spot.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. We do have to get Mark out of here.
There's that
Is
part.
it 8?
Yeah.
It's 8 o'clock, so we're gonna get Mark out of here.
Brisket
All right.
time.
Thanks
Real-
for coming on.
No, he's
My
just not even
pleasure.
gonna wait.
Thank
He's
you.
just gonna leave.
Deuces.
Seriously.
Well, it takes like 15 hours plus to smoke the brisket. So
You're gonna be late anyway, so you'll have that extra few minutes to finish your
No,
brisket.
he has until 9 to start it. So
I know, he's fine.
what time is it right now?
8.
Oh, I mean, I can finish the cigar.
Yeah. See.
He's always trying to cut it short. Mark's always the one that cuts it short. This is the longest podcast he's ever done.
I'm a busy guy.
So, in all seriousness, and most likely you are going to be the last guest on our show for 2025. I think that this was a very great way to, or you're a great host. What am I saying? Backtrack.
Guess.
Great guest to
Alex is a great host.
One of us is.
It works.
Let me start over. Great guest to have
Alex,
as our
just lip sync.
Jesus
I'll
Christ,
talk,
bro.
okay?
Jesus Christ.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure
done?
being able to be with you guys. Thanks
for coming on.
An absolutely awesome experience to hang out. And,
I'll get it out. What I wanted to say is
What were you going to say?
we're never going to end. No, but in all seriousness, what a great guest to have as our final guest of 2025. And I mean that sincerely. All jokes aside, stop laughing, Zach. All jokes aside, this was a great episode. Great conversation. I'm very glad that we got to get you in here in 2025 and final guest of the year. Couldn't be happier.
Very awesome.
Thank you very
We appreciate
much.
the gifts you brought us.
Of course, absolutely. Yeah. Continue and enjoy them in great health. That ball's yours. That's not coming home with me. So that you guys enjoy that as well.
Thank you, man.
Again, Dalmore, it's actually a strategic partnership for Davidoff as well. So we activate with them around not only the US, but globally as well. When we try to work with other companies, we want to make sure they are of a certain level. Dalmore definitely checks that box very, very well. So when you can put together Davidoff cigars and the Dalmore and great camaraderie, I mean, again, it's time beautifully filled.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sincerely, Alex, Tristan, however you want to be called. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you
My
for
pleasure.
your hospitality.
My pleasure. Absolutely. Thank you.
And thank you guys for watching this very special episode of the Cigar Guys Podcast. We'll see you next time. Take care.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Cigar Guys Podcast. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all the latest episodes. Looking for short form content? Check out all our social media accounts in the description below. And now, a final word from our sponsors.
What if every cigar was considered vintage? What if every cigar that we made was that perfect experience? And so that passion drove us to create Sans Pareil, a cigar without equal. The inspiration between Sans Pareil is 100% all about quality. Everything that we enjoy in our cigars, everything from the tasting notes to the burn, to the aroma, to the way the cigar lights, to the packaging. Everything is focused on Sans Pareil cigars, and that's where we came up with our name, Sans Pareil, which is French for without equal, unparalleled. And we take every cigar that we make to that level, making sure that if it isn't something that inspires you to do something more, then it's not part of the portfolio, and that's what drives us every day.